How do I get rid of Batir's old pickaxe? It's just stuck in my inventory, I swear to god.
Picard's old pickaxe? I don't know.
How do I complete the generation?
Probably. Okay. We're now live. We
We
have
are?
Lathara. We sure do. We sure are.
Did you tell anybody that we're streaming?
No. I couldn't tell people though.
Yeah, ooh, Doggy Blue is now live?
Yeah.
Abinogi?
Yeah, from Amanogi.
Oh my god, I got an ad.
An ad. Pretty cool.
The coffee ad. Oh,
Uh,
coffee.
I don't really drink coffee though. I'm not inside of Juice TV. Pretty cool.
Not a juice streamer.
Not a juice streamer.
No, imagine this guy non-juice streamer. My browser encountered an error while decoding the video.
Pretty
Oh, there we
good. Pretty
go.
good. Let me look for the photo for Persus Weapons, cause would you like to be added to it? It's too late now. I'm live now.
Can't you just ping it anyway?
I think. I see.
I don't know. Can you just like manually type your thing in?
I
Really? We talking about the new updates and Perseus stuff? Podcast.
podcast. Okay, I got the image of the Perseus weapons, and then
Why are we so scoffed?
what do you mean?
I mean, I feel like we could have prepared better. We could have had like resources ready or something. This is why the juice is spilled.
This is exactly why the first juice is spilled.
Because we're just unprepared for anything.
Exactly. We don't even have proper chairs or anything, and here I am doing my renown. No stop, even for the podcast.
No EXP loss, right?
Exactly. Are you even capped on the renown?
Of course I'm capped on renown, dude.
No way. I'm at 45 right now.
Of course. I'm all 50-50.
Let's go.
And my Alund and my Endolin renown, all good. It's just the stupid ass Eden renown.
Okay.
I just need good Eden renown roll, and then I'm done. And then I'm happy. And then they expand the amount of renown you can get, and I tilt off the face of the earth.
Explode.
The Doge Blue. I'm calling it.
I don't want to misspell it again. Like a blue June recap. Thank you, Twitch.
The Huggy. Hey, Doggy, try to spell con. You copy and pasted that, didn't you?
There, see? I just got everyone to be in it. Problem solved.
Living Dreamer redeems Burger Me. What's a Burger Me, dog?
It's when they throw stuff at me, but I don't have it set up for the tits. But you can't burger me right now. Got that.
Water. What's water do?
I just drink water.
Oh, do you have water?
I do. I actually got prepared for that. No, drink, stop!
Okay, so hang on. You got prepared to drink water, but you didn't have the Perseus weapon.
It's not my fault. I just brought the images right now. Look, see? There's the Persus Weapons.
Yeah,
There's the Celtic one.
Oh, I see stuff. There's an emoji flying at you.
What, where?
Ah,
Stop trying to burger me! I don't have the
what
tits
is?
up!
What's the burger do? Oh, it's a throwing thing.
Yeah, it's a throwing thing, but I don't have my rig up because I wanted to show off the Discord thing first. Stop it, Dream!
Dang, Dream has a lot of points farmed up.
It's because he
I didn't know you
lurks.
streamed that much.
Yeah, it's streamed a decent amount.
Dang. The concentrated juice.
Concentrated juice. Also, ignore the noise.
What
Stop
noise?
Dream, stop it! Why is Dream trying to throw stuff at me? I need to, like, refund stuff, and I don't know how to refund stuff. I'm trying to put the fucking image of the Persus Weapons, and Dream's just right here trying to burger and throw burgers and stuff at me.
Hamburger.
I want burger.
Hamburger. Persus Weapon.
Welcome back, Fred, to the first episode of Concentrated Juice.
Concentrated juice. What did I put?
Where we are unprepared for everything,
We sure are.
but we still went live.
We still went live. The first spill. Those are the Celtic weapons. Where's the Persus weapons?
Wait, aren't these the Persus Weapons?
No, this is the Celtic weapons.
No, the second image is the Persus Weapons, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh
this
yeah,
is
those are the Celtic Weapons.
Yeah, these are the Celtic weapons.
Oh, look at them.
We will look at those later. We will talk about those later. I want to talk about more about the Persus weapons and what tier they should be respected into.
Yeah. Up here, weapons. Oh, stretch! Oh, that's what I was just doing.
Yeah.
Ah,
Gotta stretch. I am chaos.
you're a doggy. You're a Doge Blue.
There it is. There's the Persus weapons. We're gonna just put it on top of right there. Just kind of on this side. Not properly doing it.
Good enough.
Good enough. We just put it like right here. There we go. Problem solved. Have some Mabanuki piano music in the background. Hopefully it's not too loud. Wait, is the Persus shield gonna be mid or large? We legitimately were just gonna talk about that!
It's certainly gonna be a medium shield, unless they buff Nightbringer shield to be a large shield equipable by all races,
Okay.
which they should.
Okay. So obviously we should totally talk about the shield first before anything else.
All right.
Because I'm gonna say it once again. I think Persus shield should honestly be a large shield, and then they just changed Nightbringer shield into a large shield as well. There's no
I agree.
downside.
The problem about Nightbringer shield being a medium shield is just like the giants kind of get left out. Like why would I ever use a Nightbringer shield instead of a Mass of Despair? I think the benefits from having defense do 1 damage is just way too strong a lot of times compared to gaining like a few more protection
Exactly.
and like a little bit of auto defense. But like even then, even if it is slightly better to go for the Nightbringer shield, like you have to make that trade-off, whether or not it ends up being better or not. Like it's a decision that you have to make when you're comparing like a Despair shield, which is how many years old, compared to like a new Nightbringer shield,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Because
So like,
I dislike the fact that the Despair shield is still weaker than the Divine shield, but there's nothing better than the Destruction shield for giants. Even though there's options for better shields that provide even more prot and defense, and just all around better upgrades. And I think just making the Persus weapon as a middle ground between for large shields to Nightbringer should honestly be a great addition.
yeah, like with Nightbringer shield currently, you're getting 15 protection, and then like, it's a good chunk of auto defense more than the Despair shield.
Yeah, it's a lot more.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot more. So like you are definitely getting more tank stats, but you're losing out on that defense. And like I don't know. I find that defense uh buff to be pretty good. I haven't gotten a Nightbringer shield because obviously I'm using the Despair shield. But like it just doesn't seem like an upgrade that big. Like you're gaining protection, but at the same time, from shield mastery from using a large shield, you're gaining 5 more protection than a medium shield already.
Hmm.
So like
Just something
it
not
feels,
enough.
yeah, it just feels like a side grade. If it's even a side grade. Because just being able to use the defense to block certain things is just really strong. So like I think what they have to do is they have to make what they should do is they should make Perseus shield a large shield that's equipable by all races. And they should make Nightbringer shield a large shield equipable by all races. That way it actually feels like an improvement and like something that people would want to get instead of being like that item that people see someone have and they laugh at them because they just don't know.
Exactly.
Because like don't get me wrong, Nightbringer shield pretty good in Glen hard mode. It adds a lot of tank stats for humans and elves and even giants, but like I don't know, it could be better. I think one-handed and shields in general could be better.
EVE also brings up a good fact. And there's going to be more mobs that have piercing. We should get more options when it comes to defenses on shields.
Yeah. Like currently, the only enemies that have pierce resist are in Glen hard mode, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if normal mobs in Glen normal have piercing, but like they're adding pierce resistance to the Glen armor. So like, what's the point of having that if like there aren't more options besides the Glen armor? Because like the Glen heavy armor, I believe it's like 5 extra pierce resistance.
Yep, yep.
Which I don't know. I don't know how much piercing these enemies have in Glen, but I don't know. Like it seems kind of useful,
I agree.
supposedly. If they decide to go the route of adding more enemies that have piercing in later content.
Which I personally think it's a good idea.
But, yeah, I think it's fine. I think if they're adding the side effect for pierce resistance, they might as well add more enemies that have piercing so you can take advantage of that. I don't know. What about one-handed weapons though in general?
There's one-handed swords. There's also one-handed maces, one-handed axes.
Yeah, so those weapons exist, but like, I feel like they fit in like this niche role that isn't actually that good. So like, giants obviously can dual wield blunts, but like, one-handed swords just on like dual wielded on humans just kind of feel bad. Like, do you think they should? And like, sure, they upgraded like the smash effect on the erg 50 for one-handed swords, but like 2 erg 50 one-handed swords, and you're still like worse than a Nightbringer. Like, how do you think they fix this, or do you think it's something that they need to fix?
I think it's something they need to fix because there isn't really anything you can really go around when it comes to fixing this. It's not because of weapon progression as well. It's just purely just because of how much resources that both of those weapons take up.
Yeah, like the like 2 erg 50s is a lot of commitment. Uh, for I think most people, and like unless you're really hard set on doing like the dual blunt build as a giant, it just doesn't feel that meta or that good. Evie says, "What if dual wield exclusive, where they get to use normal combat skills while in final hit?" Uh,
Mm,
so the thing is, final hit, I feel like its damage is pretty mediocre. Not gonna lie. After playing human for so long and using final hit in a lot of content, it just does not feel very good compared to me on giant hitting final strike. Final strike actually feels so clean.
I also agree with that. After playing
So I
so
think,
long for human, Final Shot just feels so much cleaner than Final Hit.
yeah. And like, don't get me wrong, final hit is like really nice for certain things. Like, it's really nice for clearing like fast elite hallways. But it's just the damage percentage isn't that great, I feel like. But like, I guess you could use it to like teleport on them, yeah, and smash and windmill, but like, you can already do that with like blazing assault slash kinda. right?
Jim says he hates the second knock on the final strike, though.
The second knock? So like the thing I like to use Final Strike for is like it's really convenient. I can just Iron Will onto Feth Elite Donut, turn on Final Strike, and just auto combat. And it's really convenient. Like I think it is good to just be able to Final Strike. The hit stun on it seems pretty nice to use in like content where the hit stun matters. And like, sure you have knockdown iframe, but you know final hit does too. You know, like it's the same thing. I think my main issue with Final Strike is it doesn't give advanced heavy standard. It gives that halfway measure between like knockdown immunity and not knockdown immunity like Final Hit does, whereas elves just get like full advanced heavy standard at Final Shot. I don't know if that's something that they should balance onto Final Hit and Final Strike, but like I don't know, could be nice.
I think
If they want to like bring relevancy more to like the Final Hit ability and the Final Strike ability, because currently I feel like both of them, they kind of feel like they're outshined in like the final skill ability to Final Shot, just because of how strong Final Shot is. But also archery is kind of good. And you have to also keep in mind that archery isn't balanced around Ruination weapons existing. Since they're balanced around like Nightbringer being the best tier.
it's true.
Yeah, I do wonder what they think about one-handed weapons, because they are adding like new one-handed weapons. Like they're adding the one-handed Perseus weapons, and they are saying they're going to go balance the Nightbringer weapons. So like, what do we think they're going to do to assaults, or what can they do to assaults to make them relevant?
I think the good fix for one-handed weaponry, not just because of humans' reasons, but just for all races, because they're suspecting all races to take advantage of this, right? Because for humans, they can dual wield both of them and gain that 25% smash, which basically inclines using the two-handed.
Doggy lag.
Doggy lag.
Or is that me?
I don't know. I think
Warlord. Oh, go ahead.
I think the real fix, that one-handed weaponry, and especially for swords, I think the biggest fix they can do for them, and I know this sounds really one-sided too, it's just to provide that 2 point or whatever, the 0.25 smash buff that two-handeds have as well. I think they should be adding that to even dual wielding in general, like for dual wielding maces and dual wielding swords. I feel like they should just add it in general to those weapons when you're dual wielding, because dual wielding on its own has its own exclusive skill. You know, it's inside the skill tab. It's right there, and you can see it has, you know, a bad version of piercing. And it even gives piercing to your stats too, but it's not real piercing. It's, you know, the fake version of piercing where it only affects just defense only.
Yeah.
So maybe in reality, they should just add that bonus that two-handeds get when dual wielding, and should honestly apply that piercing as well. I know this sounds really one-sided when realistically they can just add a piercing one-handed weapon, but this can solve a lot of things if two-handed weaponry just simply, like, one-handed weaponry dual wield with blunts as well, just gain that benefit from that piercing.
Sure.
Not to act as defense, but instead for both protection and defense.
Mm-hmm. Evie says the Nightbringers are kind of weird though, with Warlord getting Final Hit and Final Strike enhanced and the Bow getting Final Shot enhanced. Yeah, I think Assaults also get Final Hit enhancement, which I think is really weird. So the way that dual wielding on human works for like skills, so like let's say Smash, is it adds the max attack values of both weapons together, and then calculates it into skill damage like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like with Final Hit, since you're attacking with one weapon at a time, it doesn't do that. So it's kind of weird how they gave the Nightbringer one-handed Final Hit. At least I believe they have Final Hit. Let me double check that before I just
Yeah,
Nightbringer. Oh,
they do have that fun on it.
yeah. Final hit. Yeah, I think that's really weird.
Yeah, it's really weird.
And then I think the problem with making dual wielding have like the 1.2 modifier is like Evie says, it's race exclusive. Only humans and giants can do that. What about elves? I think elves are really getting shafted on the whole melee thing. Which okay, yeah, sure. Their whole gimmick is they're better at archery, but they're weak at melee combat. Sure, whatever. But the thing is, Ellie Knight is supposed to be that arcana that's accessible to everybody, right? So that we're gonna have like everyone is gonna have their dark mage, everyone's gonna have their Saint Bard, and everyone has their Ellie Knight, and then racially they have to decide between like what is it, alchemical stinger, and then
The
whatever
Lancer.
future lance arcana they decide to make, right?
Yeah.
And so the problem with that is, okay, Ellie Knight is supposed to be for all three races, but it really feels like elves aren't included in that at all. Uh, like making dual wielding work for giants and humans, but not elves is just it's kind of it just feels bad.
Yeah, but I don't see people wanting to have piercing on their one-handed weapons as much as I would like that. I don't think it's a like good health for the game right now.
Yeah. So like the thing with adding piercing onto like one-handed weapons, obviously, is like okay, you get piercing, you can't put piercing enchants on one-handed weapons. Since,
Yeah,
the only piercing enchants are like meteor at 67th floor, right?
yeah,
So unless they add like exclusive piercing enchants for one-handeds for those specifically, it doesn't really necessarily isn't too important. What they
exactly.
could do is they could add like a piercing set effect to like the Nightbringer shield, the Nightbringer one-handeds, and the Nightbringer blunts, and make it so like when you have both of them equipped, it gives one piercing. If you do that, then even elves can get that one piercing from having the shield equipped. But like again, like elves still feel like they're getting shafted when it
It's
comes
true.
to like Ellie Knight
Yeah.
related things. Like, what are the options for elves right now? Besides obviously Saluna Blade being best in slot for Ellie Knight for elves, they have what? Nightbringer Berserker, the two-handed axe,
Yep. The Nightbringer
like
Berserker. Um.
Celtic Celtic Royal Warrior Axe, the two-handed Celtic axe. Then they have like one-handed options of like Nightbringer Assault. They have, or they could go for a blunt, or they could go for like a Celtic
Royal Knight Sword.
Royal Knight axe, or CRK. Yeah,
Yeah, they could go with the Celtic Royal Knight Sword, but with they can also add in the shield effect from the Divine Shield or the
yeah.
which will give them the
But
critical
like
enhancement and everything.
you have these enhancements, but like elves just don't have a good option because they can't balance these weapons to be stronger because then humans and giants can just abuse them, whereas elves are still getting shafted. Pixel
Exactly.
Saluna, but no special. Yeah, that's just not good though. Pixel Saluna, the wildflower thing, they're just not good because you can't special upgrade them. And giving those weapons the ability to be special upgraded isn't the answer either. I think realistically, Nightbringer and Divine Blade should be equipable by elves. I think elves EK, it's not bad because they get less strength, or their smash multiplier is lower, which I don't think it is. I actually don't know. Let's see. Actually, it might be.
I don't think so. Not that I can remember off the top of my head.
Okay, yeah, humans and elves do the same amount of smash damage, so it's just a little bit of strength less. So like we can't even say that's too bad on them. The problem is weapon accessibility. Elves just don't have accessible Ellie Knight weapons, like at all. Like it's in reality, their options are Celtic axe or Saluna Blade. Like you're not gonna go out of your way to craft a Nightbringer Berserker. Like they only have two options, and it's one's like really mediocre, and the other one costs like what, 6 bill plus, if
Yeah.
that, if not more. Like it's just
It's too
it
much of a
feels like they're
large gap
too
for it.
expensive. There's
Yeah.
too big of a gap between weapons for elves,
And
and like
we can honestly treat how we treated like the shield from Perseus and Nightbringer to become large shields. We could probably treat Pierce two-handed weapon as allowing it for elves as well, and then
yeah,
allowing
like
the Nightbringer warlord.
I don't see a reason why elves can't equip the Perseus two-handed. I don't see a reason why elves can't equip the the Nightbringer two-handed. Like, we can be like, oh yeah, haha, elf noodle arms. But like, that affects lances. That should only affect lances. Like, I think elves not having access to the lance talent, whatever, right? That's a thing. But like, they should be able to use Ellie Knight with a two-handed sword. Like, I think that we all know that like two-handed swords with piercing, way better because of the piercing than, you know, two-handed axe. And missing out on that piercing, this feels really bad for elves. I don't know, like, sure, giants don't get two-handed bows, but like, they can at least use Ellie Knight. Elves don't get lances, and they don't get Ellie Knight. Why?
And it's not like giants are getting shafted either. They're not
No.
just because they're not able to get the alchemical stinger or anything like that. They're gonna be,
It's still the same.
yeah, it's gonna be still the same.
Elves are missing out on 2 Arcanas, realistically. Right? So like, we can't look at it like elves need to be weak at close combat. Because they don't. They miss out on lance. Sure, they're missing out on strength from that. But like, they should be able to use Ellie Knight at like a decent ability. Instead of currently how they're really hard forced into being Harmonic Saint. Just because of how Elf EK is. It's just too weak because of pure weapon choice. There's like no weapon choice for elves when it comes to EK.
Mm-hmm.
And like, okay, sure, how do they buff one-handed weapons so that elves can use them? And it not being overpowered on humans. Or it not being overpowered on giants, right?
Exactly. And if we just simply just straight up just get them piercing, it just falls behind into the category of being sad grades to the two-handed or even better than the two-handeds.
Well, EK is pretty neat with the zoom. Realistically, though, the movement speed isn't too big of a deal for EK. You have so many movement options. Like, you have Blazing Assault Slash, which we all know is really strong. You have access to Charge as well. Like, Charge is really strong movement utility. You don't realistically need more movement speed, I feel like, that often. Like,
I feel like the only time I ever needed a movement speed was whenever I'm like ran out of cooldowns and I need to push the fence and run around.
Yeah, like, EK is, like, movement speed is nice, don't get me wrong. But like, Elf having more movement speed for EK isn't like the answer. Ellie Knight could use some defensive buffs. So Evie says Ellie Knight could maybe use some defensive buffs with like the 2 new Arcanas coming out. Since they're not the ones jumping in.
That's kind of like forcing a roll into Arcana, and I don't want to do that.
Oh, sure. The thing with that is, how do you balance this around giants existing? Just because of how much two-handed erg and shield gives, it's kind of insane to give it more defensive buffs. And I'm gonna complain about something real quick. Dauntless Defense. This ability sucks so much on humans and elves, just because it only blocks damage if you have a shield equipped.
Awful. Just straight up awful.
Wow. This feels like a giant exclusive skill because of that.
You know what other giant exclusive skills there are?
Windguard.
Yes. And as well, there's a tech, the top one, when it provides you extra health and protection.
Yeah, Tenacious Taunt does give extra health and protection for giants when they activate the taunt skill while Tenacious Taunted. It's good, but I think that at the same time Tenacious Taunt takes too long to cast.
Giants. SMH.
But like, giants are really tanky for no reason. So like, how do you battle? I don't think you can necessarily give giants the ability to use.
Allow one guard to use Arcana.
To get more tank?
No.
Does taunt stay if you change tech pages? No, I think it falls off. Allow Windguard to use Arcana? No, I think that's way too powerful.
No. No Windguard for Arcana. That's bad, Dream.
No,
bad.
That's bad. So like, you allow Windguard to use Arcana, then you allow Alchemical Stinger to be used in Final Shot. You allow you have to allow EK skills to be usable in final hit and final strike too, and final shot, I guess. So
Actually,
like,
they kind of are because you can final hit and load up meteor.
can we just remove that feature?
We kind of should, to be honest with you. As wicked as it is, and as stupid as it sounds, it's kind of a quality of life kind of deal.
Yeah, because the thing with casting magic with EK is that like the piercing from swords actually doesn't apply to the magic you cast on an EK. It's kind of troll. It's always better to pull out a staff. And so like you have to have like staff bound to a hotkey. Because like if not, you're gonna cast the meteor and it's just like, oh whoops, gotta cancel this. And then gotta shift the staff and then oof. It's just inconvenient. And like I don't know.
Spell swordsman.
Like EK feels strong, but like elves get shafted out of it, and how do you balance it around giants?
That's true. Very, very true.
It's supposed to be this encompassing thing, I think.
Someone mentioned the shockwave.
Shockwave thing?
Yeah, me using shockwave.
To switch the staff, yeah, you can use shockwave to like switch the staff, but look how slow that is. It's really slow. Oh no, I just messed up my equipment slots, it's doomed. Never mind, I did it. No, never mind, hang on. There we go, fixed.
Fixed. I don't even have it hotkeyed. No, the shockwave.
So the thing with shockwave is you also knock everything back and it's slow.
How about blaze?
Blaze, cancel swap. You're talking about things that are so much slower. No way it's faster. There's just no way it's faster. Okay, or it's just faster to manually hotkey. You're talking about adding skills to hotkey swap when you could just add a hotkey to swap to staff, which is always going to be faster.
Agreed.
Like the only way we can go faster is if pressing magic didn't try to cast it on your sword. Like it's the only thing that goes faster.
Better remember, hotkey it.
Yeah, you have to hotkey it. And like that's just inconvenient, I think, for magic. I don't know. Persus Weapons though.
Agreed.
Let's take a moment. Let's go off Arcana. Let's talk about the other Persus Weapons. How about that?
Yeah. What about tide scales too?
Equip swaps. The thing is, this only is a problem with EK, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only for EK that has
only a problem with EK, and I guess with Fusion Bolt. I guess you could tie skills with equip swaps, but
I already do that right now with like my knuckles and stuff, where I just simply use like a skill to go to it.
Giant full swing too, yeah, giant full swing as well. You have to have that full swing hotkey. Would you like it as a... Evie says, would you like it as a quality of life? Something like Fate Weaver to equip swap, like one key to open up some kind of UI to choose which swap, because we're kind of running out of keys. Yeah, we are running out of keys. And like, I guess I could get behind having certain skills pull out certain weapons and being able to like hotkey that with like another UI. I think that could be good.
Yeah, I can.
I guess I can see the point there. Just because we are, Evie is right in saying that we are running out of hotkeys.
We are just in
because
general,
we are.
Just in general, we are running out of hotkeys, and then we're gonna get even more.
Yeah, you get even more every Arcana. Granted, I feel like you should only have
one set of
Arcana skills bind.
Yeah.
Based on what Arcana you are. I don't, especially with Link 10 being what it is, I don't think maxing out 2 Arcanas to Link 10 is economically viable.
I think seems a little silly.
Yeah, and like going back to economically viable dual wielding, it's just not economically viable because you have to erg 52 things.
Just not viable.
And you have to craft 2 things as well. It's just incredibly expensive.
Import export methods for hotkeys. I think they did brought that up ages ago. However, because they have their hotkeys inside a different server completely away
Yeah.
from the normal server, I think it just didn't work out though.
Yeah, maybe with Unreal Engine. Maybe with Unreal Engine we finally get all these things because I think hotkeys should be a TXT file in your Mappy client that you should be able to copy. There's no reason for it not to be. Literally every other game on the planet does it. So I can like share my hotkeys with someone else. I can just copy them my TXT file, send it to them, and then they can use it. No reason not to.
Agreed.
All right. What about the other Perseus weapons? We talked about shield. We talked about one-handed. Let's talk about staff and bows and crossbows real quick. They don't get to be balanced for NA because no ruination in Korea.
I agree to this as well.
So they have to either the Nightbringer weapon buff after they buff Nightbringers. They have to be on par in Korea with ruination in order for it to even matter.
Yep.
Like we can't even realistically talk about that. Sorry to say.
Until we get the Nightbringer like buffs themselves.
Yeah.
Because
Revenant, were there Revenant versions? EVS? No, they're only Perseus weapons being added. They aren't adding new tier Revenant weapons.
No
Revenant will only be knuckles, bars, cylinder.
Yep.
As far as we know currently, they didn't say anything about releasing Revenant weapons for everything.
And then,
which, to be honest, it feels like a lot if they had Revenant tier weapons for everything, especially when they're Revenants.
I would say, especially because Perseus weapons will have different materials than just a Kraken Heart, it's going to be completely different materials from every single tech, which is basically the ruination.
We have to see how farmable they are.
Yeah. And no. Let me use hearts? No, none of the new Pierce weapons use hearts. Yeah. They already confirmed
they confirmed that that the heart is not the crafting material for it, and that they're adding materials for them.
Yep.
Which I think is good. I like how, and so currently in Korea, tech missions aren't that amazing because the only things that realistically drop from there, ultimate Gias mats, and the Kraken Heart Misty gems.
Yep.
They don't have demo weapon mats dropping there. They don't have ruin mats dropping there. So tech missions aren't too amazing in Korea, I think.
Yeah, and they're trying to buff them with this and making a middle ground between Celtic Weaponry 2, the Nightbringer 1. Because that's why I've been saying that the Nightbringer weapons will basically be the new Pierce weapons, and the Nightbringer weapons will be basically the ruination tier for Korea.
Yeah, that's my speculation as well.
They have to be basically on par with it.
Yeah. There's just too big of a gap between, like, Celtic Divine weapons and Nightbringer weapons. Sounds harsh, too? I don't think it sounds too harsh.
I don't.
What do you actually mean by harsh, Dream? Because I feel like Nightbringer weapons are plenty strong right now, but like they could be better. And I think if you give everyone Perseus weapons that are as strong as current Nightbringers, it's fine.
The KR version? I actually like the KR version. As of this moment, all the Pierce materials are going to be dropped in both hard mode and elite versions. They're going to be more common inside elite versions. And that honestly makes a lot more sense, because Misty Gems and Kraken Hearts are also dropped in hard mode versions of the respected versions.
The jump on NA would hurt us? I don't think it would.
Not really. If anything,
I think Nightbringers being stronger is fine. So for example, like, obviously the content that you realistically want Nightbringers in, it's like Glen hard mode, right?
Yep.
But like, honestly, I feel like gaining more damage isn't necessarily an issue.
I think we should honestly start making techs into a mid-tier thing, and allow us to continue with this new path they're doing with the pierce resistant armor that they're releasing. They should honestly allow the monsters to have higher damage, higher
Mm-hmm.
Not higher health, because that was an issue with Crom. I feel like Crom is kind of more of a bullet sponge thing, and that was a pretty big sign and why they needed to nerf it the first time. It was just really spongy and just really hard to take out. Even with Ruination weaponry, they were really like bullet sponge.
So uh, Evie says, I would say that it can't be too easy to obtain because you could run text to get a Nightbringer level tier weapon instead of Crom. Yeah, I think Perseus Weapons should be. I think Perseus Weapons should be on par with like their rarity compared to like current Ruination weapons.
Yeah.
I don't think they should be like a demo weapon in terms of how easy demo weapons are to get. I think they should be Ruination tier, in terms of rarity. And then I think adding Nightbringers to a higher tier is completely fine then.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that demo weapons are really easy to get from running techs, and I think that ruins are pretty rare still. And I think if it's on that tier of rarity, it's fine, because we have to consider what a Nightbringer weapon is. Like, we have to consider that most of the Nightbringer weapons that have been made were made during Fever time.
Fever!
And that was a time.
That was a time.
That was a time.
The thing is,
Like,
there's still a lot of those materials just kind of laying around.
yeah, a lot of the materials from Fever time still exist. A lot of people are still hoarding them. A lot of people are sitting on them.
A lot of people are just still sitting on them.
And so when we think about like, okay, so for a warlord, that's 75 glass mats to make. That's a lot of mats. I think that's not, for a lot of people, that's not feasible, especially since you only get 10 runs a week.
That's correct.
Yeah, only 10 runs a week, right, everyone? Yeah, 10 runs a week.
Yep.
It's difficult. Like, let's say you get like maybe you're running nothing but Crom 100s. Well, what do you think the average per week is? Like maybe 2 mats, 1 mat from those 10 runs?
I would say maybe like for yourself, maybe 1 or 2. As a team, maybe 4, 6.
Okay, yeah, but like, I don't think as a team many people are pooling materials to make one Nightbringer weapon.
Yeah, no, I don't think people are going to be pulling together unless it's really that big of a jump of an upgrade for one person, just to continue the team to keep going.
Yeah.
That was actually what we did with the first Ruination weapon we made for Rome. For his
you
bow.
guys funneled everything into Rome's ruin bow.
Yeah,
but like, that's one group. I don't think a lot of groups pool materials together.
Especially when it's limited, like 10 per week.
Yeah. I'd say 2 to 3. I think 3 is pushing it. I think it's 2. I would even say it's like 1.5 mats per week. And like, then that's 75 weeks.
And
right?
Once you finally made it, some folks just face the point of saying, dang, this is kind of bad.
Like, yeah, so don't get me wrong. When Doggy says it's bad, he's saying it's bad for the time investment needed to get one. Right?
Yeah, the time I invested inside a Nightbringer weapon and what they're worth right now is pretty bad, and it just takes too long. It's basically the demonic weapons all over again, where it just takes a lot of investment, like a lot of events, a lot of time basically of you doing this. And then you just create it, and you just don't feel proud about it because it's not that large of a jump.
The thing is, it is a large jump for certain weapons.
It is.
Other weapons just completely get shafted. So, like, we look at my Warlord, that's 3 more Pierce than the previous tier, right? That's on average around 15% more damage increase. 15% more damage increase is huge, right?
Yeah.
But for other weapons, like guns, for example, like
stars,
like guns, stars, lance, even like all of these, it just doesn't feel like the increase is that big. And as Evie says, also, the rolls are pretty big. So for Knuckles, like for non-giant races, you lose out on the will from Perseus to Nightbringer. So like, the dropkick damage is big. Don't get me wrong, dropkick damage is absolutely huge, and it's way better. But like, it feels bad to miss out on the max because you didn't roll high. I think Hillwind Engineering and Magicraft needs to stop being used for all of these weapons, and that we should get more like things like blacksmithing. So like with the Glen armor, it's all blacksmithing tailoring. So like, you have a lot more control over the rolls than you do with Hillwind. in Magicraft. Because at most you're losing like what, 1 max? But like with Hilwin, like the roll is pretty bad,
Yeah.
like I'm glad I didn't roll an 80 on my Warlord, but I rolled like a 93. And like 93, it's not 100, right? I'm forever gonna be missing that max attack just because it's not feasible to like go out and build another Warlord just for like a little bit of max attack.
Mm-hmm.
The rolls do play a big difference, and I hope with the Perseus weapons we don't get Hillwind Engineering and Magicraft, but I know for a fact we are.
Yeah, we're basically going to get them again, and it's going to be a bummer.
Yeah. Like, Hillwind Engineering and Magicraft, I guess it makes sense for like staff and guns, but like everything else, like why isn't the bow made with carpentry?
Why is that?
When was the last carpentry tier weapon we got? Divine crossbow?
Chains are all made by Hillwind. What is this? It's made by Blacksmith.
Yeah. Like, why is all of this stuff? Like, I'm not saying that we need to like completely remove Hillwind Engineering and Magicraft from the game, but I think we need to stop balancing things around these wildly large variances and ranges of rolls.
Yeah. And I dislike how big their like ranges are, especially when it came to divine weaponry. Man.
Yeah, divine weapons, like,
man, was that punishing? And they're still doing it. That's
yeah,
not.
and
That's
it's still
not.
bad.
That's not a fun
Like,
mechanic. That's
what's
just,
min roll on D Blade? Like 76, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And like what's max roll? Like what, 101? I don't know off the top of my head. It's up there in like the hundreds.
And
I know that.
And the worst part about all this, right, is that even if you have everything active, like you're the expert, you're Dan 3, you have a magic potion, you can still roll that.
You can still min roll and it's still bad.
Yeah, and it just sucks.
It just doesn't feel good. Yeah. 30 max D blades, those come from drops, or if you decide to synth 3 D blades together, I don't think we should factor those in. Obviously, yes, they should drop with a random roll, but at the same time, I don't know. They're so rare that it doesn't even realistically matter.
Yeah, I don't feel like they should realistically matter. If anything, they're just fashion items to be fashion items.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Well, I think the thing is, the side effects should be a lot more powerful from Nightbringer weapons. I think.
Yeah. I think the set effects on Nightbringers should be completely reworked.
Yeah. I think they should be a lot stronger than they are, and then take maybe a little power away from like the variants and the rolls. Fix the drop, even says fix the drop weapon rolls too. Yeah. I don't know. It feels bad to like I guess it doesn't feel bad, like just having one as a drop. Obviously it feels good for the person, but I think it also takes away from everyone who crafted them. But like, yeah, I will say with adding Perseus weapons, like getting a nice, yeah, Evie says like a mid-game player doing Boltanes and getting a nice low rate drop, that's like a massive upgrade for them. Yeah, that feels good.
Yeah, I can see that. I just feel like people who are like Blacksmith, like Celtic Chains, because Celtic Chain gets dropped in Baltan as well. They would get a little upset by that.
Mm-hmm. But like at the same time, Chainblade, realistically, it's not a damage talent. It's a utility talent.
Yeah.
And like in making the Mage Arcana Mage Chain, I feel like they've kind of like said, hey, we're not releasing a Chain Arcana for a while, right? Or we're not releasing a Chain Arcana.
Yeah.
And like, the side effect of Nightbringer Chain is like spinning slasher damage and chain impale damage.
Yep.
But like, Chainblade fundamentally has issues with the way its animations are so slow. Yeah, it's a decent talent for newbies, but then it falls off a cliff. And like, that's a problem. Like, Ninja, decent damage talent for newbies, but it falls off of a cliff. And like, I think all talents should have some kind of viability and end-game content, and they shouldn't rely around one skill entirely.
I agree. I feel like having multiple talents, and I feel like that's another thing we could probably bring up later on, is that players right now are kind of still in that mindset that they can just run with only one talent, and you can tell they've been trying to fight against it too. Like they forcefully made Kraken like really unfriendly to range, and they made pretty much everything inside tech overall just not too powerful against range and magic in general. They really wanted to make it more really melee oriented when it came to Kraken. But then you have stuff like Crom, where it just completely punishes you if you try to bring out Knuckles or Lance, or
Yeah,
any type of like swords
I
with
agree.
normal without any Arcana. Like they just ping constantly. They get they get back right back up immediately and smack you, being like, "Hey, don't do that. That's not cool." Or
Yeah,
just even inside of Glenburna, some stuff just don't really work out too well because they just ping against
yeah.
it.
It's too dangerous to fight her and gone hard
Yeah.
most of the time. Evie says, going back to Chainblade. Evie says, I think that it was like its pros and cons originally, where it had high damage but at the cost of long animations in Dorcha. This is previously before everything, obviously changed. And yeah, like Chain used to be really good. It used to have really high damage, but currently its animations are just too long. Like, I feel like its damage is still decent, but like its animations being so long brings down its DPS too much. And like, I don't think Dorcha management is realistically an issue anymore. Now that we have Erg, we have one damage gathered, or like what is it, 1.25 Dorcha per hit,
Yep.
and then we have the 30% chance to reset or refund Dorcha when spent. And so like, I think Dorcha isn't necessarily a problem if you're maining Chain, but the problem is the long animations where you're just really vulnerable.
A good definition about this is the chain burst animation. Whenever you try to activate it, it just makes your character just stop immediately on where it is, and
Yeah,
it
you just like
takes.
root yourself in place.
Yeah, it's a legitimately. It doesn't even do anything as well. It's like a full 1 second of just stuff going around your character. You don't even do anything, just stuff go around your character, and it's a full 1 second of just you just standing there being like, "Whoop, hang on." And
Yeah, like
don't get me started on its ego effect. Its ultimate. Ugh.
a chain burst duration, right?
Ugh.
Like, chain burst duration is sure it's nice and all, right? Chain burst really adds a lot to chain damage. Don't get me wrong, but like the problem is all of its animations are too long. Like, why is the chain ego effect not the fighter ego effect? So with fighter you get the faster chain 2 and chain 3 combos. Why doesn't the chain ego increase the animation speed of chain sweep and chain impale?
Change the ego ultimate to chain burst always active. I don't think it should be always active.
I don't think it should be always active
Yeah,
either.
chain burst is really strong. It's just
Yeah.
I think it just needs to be faster, and I think that's what
Yeah, I think
change
I think
for the
everything
ultimate.
needs to be faster with chain.
Yeah, I think the chain ultimate should change to the fighter one.
Yeah, like I don't picture them adding increased animation speed to chain on Erg. So I think they should either add it to Ego or they should just add it baseline. Like I think chain in general needs like a pretty sizable rework. Just so the other problem with chain is its reforges are pretty terrible. Like the percent damage increase isn't actually that high. But that's also because you have to factor in like the chain burst damage. But like let's look at chain sweep for example. The chain sweep damage increase is 2% per level. That means that a 20 reforge and chain sweep is 40% more damage.
Woo!
Isn't that kinda ass?
Woo!
Like chain impale, it's 3% per level.
Woo!
So that's what, 60?
Yeah.
Oh no, am I bad at math? That's 60. So that brings what, chain impale from, what is it, baseline? A rank 1 chain impale is 850. So you're bringing it to 910. Like, is that realistically that big of an increase? Even with the chain burst, what is it, 30% skill damage?
Yeah.
Like, when you think about fighter, like, I think that the Dorcha skill damage and, like, combo mastery damage are the same thing. So, like, the baseline you get 10 from Dorcha mastery and 30 from chain burst. So that's like, what, 40%? That's like, that doesn't even come close to touching Knuckles 100% of Dark 50, right?
Mm-hmm. It just falls off way too fast when it comes to reforges. And that's
Yeah,
when
its reforges are bad, and its It's damage overall is bad. Did it always have? I think so.
Yeah, I always had that. Chain
I'm a
Impale
fairly new
style
player, so like, as far as I'm concerned, it's always had that.
Yeah, I always had that. The Dorka skill damage of plus 30% and the Chain Impale stun duration of 1.5. It's always been
Was
in
it
there.
ever used for something? The stun?
The stun? No, it's not like a normal stun. It's basically kind of like you hit something with Chain Impale, and then it kind of just sits there for a little while, and then it just...
So you can follow it up with another chain impale, right?
Yeah. It was always there, and it was always there on purpose. Chain Impale was surprisingly also nerfed for some decent content as well. Tekiata actually has a percentage reducing Chain Impale on it.
That's true. The Fast does take reduced damage from chain impale, and realistically, I don't know how you can chain impale the Fast Donut. Maybe Doggy knows more about like the strategy back then, but like it does not seem like that's the play.
Yeah, it's just not too good for what it was worth. Even back in the time, it was strong, it was powerful. It's just when it came to further down the road of other stuff coming out, it just started falling off a lot once people started realizing what Lance started to do, and when fighters started to become stronger. Basically, when Erg was basically getting out and released.
Yeah,
that's
like obviously, Chain is a non-Erg talent, right?
Yeah.
But like, because we look at like the tier of weapons that were released at the time, like Revenant and Perseus tiers, every single one of the Revenant and Perseus tier weapons require Erg to function. And it's not like it requires like some Erg, it requires Erg. Like you need the Erg 45 and Erg 50. I would say Erg 50 is like honestly what you need. I think Alchemy non-Erg 50 at like Erg 45 is pretty bad just because of like for damage, just because of the chain cylinder cooldown. You need like the full reset on chain cylinder. And like you need the combo damage from fighter, and you need the cooldown reduction on puppets.
Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that's what the Persus Weapons can actually make up for as well. I'm hoping they can try to make up some form or variation of the technical Nightbringer weapon. The thing is, there's just no guard cylinder for it, which is still strange to think.
It's weird, but it's whatever. I think it's weird, but like you use Perseus cylinder, but your guard cylinder, and you use Revenant puppet, but like, I don't know. It's not that big of a deal considering when we consider the cost of a Nightbringer.
Yeah.
What are they going to make it like this bubble cost for those talents? It's pretty heavy investment, I think.
I don't know. It's the fact they went out of their way for Perseus Buck and Wand. It just seems really weird.
Yeah. Evie says, I think maybe you could support shot into Chain Impale back then, but it was still vulnerable and loses out to Lances. Yeah, the thing with Chain Impale, or SS into Chain Impale, is you could just SS into Lance. And like, sure, Elves can't do that, but Elves get Mag Shot. But like Mag Shot back then, obviously, 70% reduced damage, or 80% reduced damage to the Tech Fesciata. And like Chain Impale to 70%. Like, why?
We may never know.
They're really afraid of Chain Impale becoming too strong, it feels like. But like, even if it did 100% damage, I don't think it would come to be too strong.
I think they should honestly remove that.
I do too.
Nerf thing.
Like why does Fire Bolt do 80% less damage to Festgate? They're really afraid of you Firebolt spamming, I guess. But like, they were just always too weak. There weren't options. Like Divine Wand Firebolting was not an option for Festgate. You would time out before you killed it. I swear. Even with Robe. Even with D-Robe, I think you would time out before you could kill it with Firebolt.
They're just like...
There's that one Korean player that does SS Chain Crush, but like, that's not good. We can say like, okay, there's a Korean player that like, I don't know, bash spams everything, but we can't say it's good. Like, the Korean players can do things that are bad too. They're not like these almighty gods that like, everything they do is correct. Because they also have a large player base that does things weird.
We're not gonna name names, of course.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It always feels though that a lot of people do try, and like going back to what Doggy was saying, they do try to like one trick a talent. And I think this is especially prevalent in the magic area. I think a lot of mages try to one trick mage and do nothing besides mage when it's really detrimental to like gameplay. and like it's not good. You can't use mage on everything. I think even like looking at the new Dark Mage Arcana, it does not look like Dark Mage is something that you can use all the time. Like you still need Dorcha generation. I feel like even with the mana to Dorcha, like you are going to be limited by your mana bar still, and you are going to need to have ways of regenerating all of these
Resources.
resources. Yeah.
This is Hail Spammers.
Yeah, hail spammers, yeah. Hail spammers and fireball spammers, like, it's not the end all be all. Like, you can't get far in the game by just doing those two things.
Yeah.
You need to, like, group things. You need Spinning Slasher to group things. You need Puppetry to group things. You need Wind Blast to group things. You have a skill that gives Dorcha, which you can spam, yes, but it's at the cost of mana, Dream.
And you can understand, most people are not going to be able to handle that.
Yeah. So we have to also consider, like, where are we getting mana generation in Korea? Inspiration? Whales? What else? Green Circle doesn't exist in Korea. You get 3 mana per second. Or 3 mana per second. It doesn't exist. No Cantabile, no Fantastic Horse side effect helmet.
You're not going to keep putting down glyphs on the floor constantly. You're going to be off cooldown.
Glyphs are going to be off cooldown. Ego is 10%. Or what? 10% on like what percent chance on?
30%.
Okay.
Set off from
30% chance to regenerate 10? That's not enough, Dream. You're going to be spending 1 Dorcha per like skill-ish, right? And like you just don't generate enough.
You recover 20% of max MP at 10% chance. That's not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough. Because like currently, if you just spam Fireball and like 7 Nightmares, you run out of mana. It's not enough to keep up with it.
Because you have a lot of stuff that reduces your mana already. We're talking about like Spell Walk taking double of your mana. We're talking about Mana Shield being active as well. We're also talking about the new skills of Black Mage that take up a percentage of your mana, just kind of like Shockwave. Shockwave takes a percentage of your mana, regardless of how much mana you have. It's gonna kill your mana.
Yeah, and so like the way the current like Dorcha to mana, or mana to Dorcha works, is I think I saw 50% or 50 mana plus 5% of your total mana.
Yep.
That's a lot of mana.
That's a lot of mana.
It's a lot of mana for 1 Dorcha. Like, it is going to be a resource management game, and I think that's something that a lot of these like mage only players that are looking at Dark Mage can't see. Yuriko's the stinky.
Yuriko's saying stinky.
Yeah, like it's a lot of Dorcha.
It's a lot of Dorcha and it's a lot of mana.
Just get Arc 50 chain. Yeah, just get Arc 50 chain. Honestly, you have to.
Honestly.
And like, don't you also have to spend Dorcha for the Pierce?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, at least you got it easy, right, Yuriko? You don't need to spend Dorcha for the Pierce, surely, right?
That moment when they finally remove the walking in meditation.
Yeah.
Based on what I was watching, it's gonna happen. Watch. Meditation can now
You need
allow.
to turn off mana Pierce to get Dorcha from Magic. Here, let me.
No, that's horrible.
I think I have the translated things someplace. Let me look for them.
You turn off the mana Pierce to get Dorcha from Magic. That's awful.
Okay, here. Let's see. Mana Pierce. Mage and Dark Mage skills apply up to 3 Pierce magic attack requirement for each Pierce level. So to get 3 Pierce, you need to have 1,300.
Yes.
In order to get 3 Pierce. 1,300 magic attack, which, I don't know, is that a big ask?
It's kind of a big ask for a lot of people, actually. It's a decent amount.
So, hang on, let me see. I have, currently, non-eerie spookies, I have 790. I don't have nearly enough. Obviously, I'm in EK, which adds 200, but like, let's see how much Dark Mage adds for its link. So Dark Mage also gets 200. Wait. When in Bakram boost... Oh, when in Bakram boost you get 200, but you get 200 baseline with thing. So, I don't know.
It's about
What am I
focus
missing?
AMA and 9%
I'm missing a lot
bonus.
of. I don't have any enchants for.
Dark Mage adds 400. No, I think
Magic.
it's 200, and then the boost
No,
for
it's
Brocco.
200. It's 200, and then you get another 200 while you're Bakum boosted. So like for that, what 30 seconds while Bakum boost is active, you have 200 extra 200 magic attack. It's not just 400. So, yeah, I do think blue will probably be the way for most people to go about it.
Yeah, when it comes to Magic.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about the blue upgrade stuff. We'll probably talk about that later.
Yeah, let's talk about that later. I think we have a chart someplace
Yeah.
that we can look at.
So what's your first
Because
DPS then?
it's
Kinda.
too hard. Yeah.
It's just that once the blue upgrade stuff happens, because right now I can hit 1k, and with the blue upgrade, I'm pretty sure I can hit 1.2, and then with the
Yeah,
uncap, I should be able to hit
I'll be able to hit
1.3.
1.3. And like obviously I'm missing like a lot of enchants, but like we're not balanced. This isn't balanced around Eerie Spooky or Ruination stuff for that matter.
Yeah,
But like I do think blue is just like significantly better
for
for his
mana
stats,
shield
or it will
tokens.
become
Yeah,
better.
mana shield will just
Just
become stronger.
that is for the consistency though. And if you are Dark Mage.
Yeah, so sad right now.
Alright, I'm back.
Can't
I
believe
made,
that.
I made a sandwich.
You made a sandwich.
I did.
No way.
Yeah, why?
What type of sandwich?
Roast beef. Wait, is the audio going through?
Yeah, yeah.
Why are you so scuffed? This is why this is the first spill, because we're just scuffed. I swear.
What do you mean? Well, you don't want to talk about your roast beef sandwich.
I mean, it's just like a cold cut roast beef sandwich.
Okay.
White bread,
Okay.
mayonnaise, salt, pepper.
Salt and pepper. No mustard.
I don't like mustard. I'm not a big fan of mustard.
How about tomatoes?
I mean, tomatoes are okay, but I don't know about on a roast beef sandwich. Maybe on like a turkey sandwich would be good.
What about cheese?
I'm lactose intolerant.
Oh, okay. Do you like the Pulses ad?
Yeah, have you guys heard of this numpad rhythm game called Pulsus? It's pretty fun. It has really hit songs like Among Us in Real Life, Ski, Jelly, all mapped by our very own Lance Charger Nos. You know, he has a lot of maps. You should check him out.
Among Us in real life. P.S. Please play his maps. He has a lot of them. All right, hang on. Let me let me read this so you can eat this sandwich.
What? I'm eating the sandwich already.
What the?
We can keep going while I eat a sandwich. Osu sucks. Yeah, Osu. Who cares about Osu? You can play Pulsus.
On your
It's
browser.
not like Yeah, it's not like Osu, where if you drop your combo, you have to just start over. It's based on accuracy, not combos. It's a good rhythm game. So check it out. Oh, there you are, doggy.
Header. I finally loaded in. And it's starting my entire music for Mama Noogie on piano.
Oh no.
We're just going to simply just pick a different song for Mama Noogie. Bam. We're going to pick this one. I don't know what's going on.
An old Tale from Grandma lo-fi hip remix.
Hotel from Grandma?
Yeah, didn't they make that recently with the last anniversary event?
Oh, I dislike that because of the vocals on it. Does not make
Yeah,
it sound low.
I don't know why they added vocals to it. That was weird.
Weird. No, like
Yuriko needs Seluna offhand and not use it. I love Albin always blowing up. I want a Seluna blade.
it's okay.
But I feel like if I got a Seluna blade, people would judge me for being bad because I'm bad.
True.
I'm so bad I had to switch to Giant.
Okay. Well, I think this purposely segues us to the Celtic weaponry because I think we went off from thing.
Well, we saw a lot of Persus Weapons to talk about, I think.
Yeah, we do.
Well, do we want to talk about Persus Weapons? Finish up the Persus Weapons and then go into the whole weapon progression system?
Yeah. Let me quickly
Alright.
bring them up again. Persus.
Yeah, that was Pulsus, everyone. From NUS, professional Pulsus player of all time.
Sticking right there. Bam.
Okay, so
So we talked about the shields. We talked
we talked about the shields, one-handeds.
Kind of the two-handeds and bows and crossbows.
You know, bows, crossbows, and stabs.
Yep.
I don't know. We wanted to start from the top left.
That's guns, right? Yeah, that's guns. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, surely we were talking about that, Yuiko. Surely they make it a shield that every race can equip that's a large shield. That way Giants have an upgrade, and that every race can use a shield. That's not terrible.
Agreed.
So yeah, let's talk about guns. So the Nightbringer guns, they give way of the gun damage increase and shooting rush damage increase. So it's like damage while in way of the guns increased by I think 20% or something like that.
I think Persus Weapons, Pierce guns in general is a really a nice addition.
I do too. I think the Divine Weapons all suffer from that problem where their next upgrade is really expensive. Like Divine Blade goes into Nightbringer Warlord, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that's kind of a leap, isn't it?
That's kind of a huge leap.
I think for the smaller talents, where it's like, okay, I probably don't want to commit all my Nightbringer mats into making dual guns first. I think Perseus Weapons sort of seem to like fill that niche area, maybe. We have to see how common the materials are.
Yeah, from 200 mil Divine Weapons to 4 mil for 200 is a really large jump.
Yeah, that is all. Yuka also brings up a pretty good point about two-handed weapons. It comes down to getting pierce, and Solitude is way easier.
Yeah.
So unless there's some easier way, or it has a lot more pierce or it has like 4 pierce baseline, comparatively to Divine Blade, it's not going to be worth necessarily upgrading. Unless we start getting easier ways of getting pierce.
I think we will talk more about that once we get to Celtic, because there is one Celtic two-handed weapon that we will go in depth into, because it is...
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's gonna
we do have to talk about pierce later, yeah.
Yeah, we will talk about the two-handeds in general once we get to that point. I will also talk about the crossbow, not the crossbow, sorry. The bow as well in the situation on that part. The other one is it's kind of just there. We won't talk about that last one. But for the most general, it's going to be the first 2 Celtic weapons that will be coming in. We will definitely get into depth into. The last one, not so much, because it's honestly okay.
Is it okay?
It's okay.
I don't think it's okay.
I will explain a little bit more once I get there. For now, I don't really have any arguments about the gun, to be honest with you. Even, it's honestly really friendly to see new guns come into the game.
Yeah. They fit a pretty good position between Divine guns and Nightbringer guns, hopefully in terms of availability. I think guns are actually a pretty good talent for short bursts. Like it's not something you main and you only use, but like I think it's definitely nice to fit in a shooting rush in between your combo. I personally use shooting rush a lot to dodge like cone attacks. So like for example, when Theta does the cone, I just shooting rush through Theta since I play EK Knuckle DPS, and it gives me a lot of options to just dodge while still doing damage, and like it's really fast. You don't need movement speed to shooting rush. Giant Stampede privileges, yeah, but like at the same time, shooting rush also is nice. It does pretty much the same thing as Stampede. It's really good. I used it a lot when I played human in Theta, and it was really good. You can use it to dodge Grandma Cone. It's really convenient there too. It's pretty good. People should use shooting rush more.
EBS, do you have something you want to see on Pierce guns? I mean, not just Pierce guns in general. I want to see Pierce weapons to have their own enchants, kind of like what Data does right now.
Like with Divine Weapons.
Yeah. I feel like Pierce weapons in general should have their own enchant. It shouldn't be more powerful than the Chrome ones, but they should be the one right before the Chrome ones.
I agree. They should make Perseus weapon exclusive enchant scrolls drop from text. Since you're going to be farming text anyway to get the mats for Perseus weapons, I see no reason not to have specialty enchants for the weapon specifically to drop in them.
Yep.
I think it would be good. I think
because you can go.
We need accessibility on enchants for these.
You can go like a lot of bad ways when it comes to Perseus guns. Like they could be slowest ones. They cannot have the enchant like the Divine guns have, because that Divine gun enchant is really big, honestly. It's a lot of max for just guns in general.
Is it actually a lot of max? Isn't it like 15 more max? Isn't it max roll 50?
Yeah, it's max roll 50.
So you're thinking about it, that's only 15 more max compared to Kirgashi.
Yeah, it's still quite large for what it is, though, for an exclusive.
Yeah, for being a weapon exclusive, yeah, that's fine. There's technically, there are Perseus enchants in Theta, but Theta is not Korean content. They don't have subject Theta in Korea. None of those enchants exist.
Yep.
There.
So I think just
Like,
adding more enchants into the pool for tech would be it wouldn't be bad, to be honest.
but I think taking away from like what they did, they could implement like a system where you get like those little tokens that you can exchange for an enchant scroll of your choice, or they can make it so maybe potentially that you can use the mats to also craft the enchant. I think it would be really great if they, instead of making these all like Hillin and Magicraft, they could like make it blacksmithing, and then you can craft the mats using Magicraft to make the enchants or something. I don't know.
Yep.
I think adding enchants for these weapons specifically would be really important, though.
Especially for enchants, yeah, I strongly agree. I think Persus Weapons should have Pierce exclusive enchants.
Yeah, and it adds a lot to like it solves a lot of problems. Like just briefly touching on like two-handed weapons like Solitude. The Divine Blade is good because Solitude is so cheap.
Yep.
Or that's yeah, it is. It's expensive now, but like it's a significantly cheaper alternative to getting like 67 or Meteoroid.
Yeah.
Which realistically, they aren't printing any more 67 floors, and Meteoroid is pretty rare to come by. Just in general.
We will kind of basically talk more about the two-handed situation once we get to the Celtic part, because that was one of the main killers that I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think for now, for guns in general, I'm hoping what they're going to do is that every single Persus weapon will have their own enchants, and I'm hoping that the guns will pretty much be the advance of the Divine guns, not the advancement for Twans. Because they can honestly go both ways. I'm just hoping they go with the Divine Gun method instead, where they provide it with more ammo, more range, and more versatility.
We have to look at the guns in comparison to the Signated Divine guns. So like Signated Divine guns already have like the Way of the Gun enhancement. It already has a shooting rest enhancement.
Yeah.
What more do they add to Perseus guns? And how do they balance Nightbringers going forward?
That's the thing. That's what I wanted to say. I was kind of hoping they still continue with the Divine Gun method, where they just simply give it the best of both worlds of Celtic and Twans, where they have the speed and they have the damage and they have the ammo capacity. They can honestly give more ammo capacity to these guns, because you gotta understand, when you're just a normal player starting into the game and you get blinded guns with the 76 or 70 ammo, whatever it is.
It's 64, I think.
Yeah, whatever it is. Whenever you use Bullet Storm, you can only use that like once or twice, and then all of a sudden it's telling you, hey, you need to reload, bro. And you're just kind of sitting there like a duck, like, It actually happens a lot more than I thought. And the more I do it too, because I don't have the ultimate on my elf anymore, it's like, man, I kind of want my ultimate now. It's a burst of damage. Ego gun privilege, yeah, it's exactly what I mean. And I think providing more ammo, especially for Nightbringer weapons, they can honestly give it up to 120 ammo, and it honestly would feel a lot better. Like, it will feel ultimately worse for people who have, ultimate egos. But I feel like that should be the main problem.
I don't think it necessarily would, because when we look at like bullets, like Suntouch Shillian bullets, they had a lot of max.
Yeah, 30.
And if you use less of them, that means you have to like farm up more. Like, let's see, is it? Yeah, you have 50 bullets every time you craft it, and it gives 30 additional damage. But you have to get these annoying ass Suntouch Shillian crystals, and who's farming these? Like, you have to farm these. Nightbringer bullets one, yeah. Like, it's just too expensive. Like, and yeah, whenever you hit Way of the Gun, you use all the bullets.
I also think they should introduce new bullets, I'm not gonna lie.
Evie says, what if they added that to mob drops in Crom? I'm assuming, like, sort of like how Phantasm the Succubus Fiends drop mana bullets? Oh!
It wouldn't make any sense for Suntouch, but a new, different type of bullet.
Yeah, a new type of bullet would make sense.
Yeah, a new type of bullet would make more sense. I think they should add new bullets in general.
Like, that's the thing. So, like, archery has like, all of these, like, you can get, like, the special forest arrows from, like, Magmail, right? Obviously, if you're not using, like, an infinite arrow, like, bow, like, Baffle, Demo, Ruin, Nightbringer, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, like, there are these different options for arrows, and, like, they're consumable, but, like, their ego effect gives them infinite arrows. Like, Sure, we look at that and we laugh because it's not very good. But like, for guns, where you don't have the advantage of infinite arrow, like, it's kind of convenient, isn't it?
Yeah. Alright, I think Yumiko really wants us to talk about the spellbook.
Alright, Fusion Bolters, you guys have fun. Both of you guys and your Nightbringer wands.
Okay, I'm gonna be very honest. The Pierce wand is honestly not that big. However, the Pierce Enchanted book is a really big difference. I thought you sold yours. No, I still have mine. See, I still have on my character. Ta-da.
No, I don't think the book is getting pierced. He's saying Perseus.
Oh, Perseus? No, it's not getting a Pierce or anything like that.
I don't think it's getting anything. I think it's just a book.
Yeah, it's just a book. However, because how they treated the Nightbringer book, because it has actually some magic defense, auto defense on it. For some odd reason, I have not a clue why they added that, by the way. I think it's going to act as a small shield, which I'm honestly going to be glad about if they ever do this and actually go with it. If they're going to treat books as small shields now, that's honestly a really huge bonus to a lot of people who are using Fusion Bolt, because this means that the book can now have both the magic attack and have the max combat on it, and they can also provide it with some shield enchants as well. And then, as much as I really hate to say this, I hate the fact that the best shield there is for mages who uses Fusion Bolt is just either using an Eagle Mask Shield, a Divine Book with all its signets, by the way, which is absolutely awful because you're missing enchants, or the Nightbringer book itself, which is a really huge leap. And I think the Pierce book is a really good closing mark. Yeah, Eagle Mask is a real shield, and I think the big difference from the Eagle Mask and the Divine Book is that they're not even side grades. It's just a straight up upgrade from each other, because you can either get a small shield with the Eagle Mask and get the bonuses from that by using defense, and you can also gain all its protection as well. And the auto defense is really nice too. While the Divine Spellbook is completely worthless and really weak, even if you provide it signets, it can't be enchanted with anything. Neither does the Eagle Mask. They don't get any form of enchants. But at least with the Eagle Shield, you get the max roll of basically what a Divine Spellbook is. It also provides protection, it also provides defense, and it also gives you the small shield. Yeah, it's really nice versus compared to a Divine Shield.
I think another thing to keep in mind about Eagle Mask is, since it is a small shield, you can run around with defense loaded, which is actually huge.
Exactly. And you know what spellbook doesn't? The Divine Spellbook. It doesn't have that. But you know what spellbook does have that? The Nightbringer. What the Nightbringer spellbook does. It allows you to run with it with defense. Which is...
Wait, is the Nightbringer spellbook considered a small shield?
Yes!
What the heck?
Yes, it's really big. It's honestly like, why? It also has auto defense of magic on it too, which makes no sense. It's enchantable, and it can reforge with magic attack. That's why it's such a huge upgrade and such a huge, like, it's such a big jump as well, but it's such a huge investment. And
that is kind of insane.
I think adding in Pierce as the same thing as the Nightbringer book will honestly close this and finally make a difference versus the Eagle Shield to it. Because right now, sadly, the Divine Spellbook doesn't have any enchants. It's not enchantable. Its signet is only 15 or some, like 10 or 15 magic attack or something like that. It can be reforged, that's fine. But like, at least you can now use defense, which is honestly really nice whenever you have like, you've already done your rotation. You know?
Yeah, I think being able to load defense is actually a really big thing in Glen. I think being able to move with defense when you're not doing anything, or just moving in general with defense loaded, is a really good habit to get into, if possible. Which it's only possible on Giant, and like, if you have like a one-handed out with a shield. But like, if they added one Pierce to the spellbook, you could be pure one. No, I don't think they're gonna add Pierce to the spellbook. I don't think adding Pierce to Fusion Bolt is what they're gonna do.
No, I don't think
I think
Fusion Bolt
I would like to see how Fusion Bolt looks more once Dark Mages out because they'll be able to 5-cast Fusion Bolt. Charge Fusion Bolt, I think, right?
Yeah, they would be able to 5-cast it. Plus, they can use the Dark Mage piercing effect too.
Yeah. And that's like added stuff.
5-cast makes it easier. Yeah, especially with the Erg update, it makes Fusion Bolt friendly.
You know what would make it better? If they could just like bind Fire Lightning Bolt to one button instead of having to do this weird thing where you have to press both buttons and sometimes you get like some lag and it just full casts the Firebolt instead.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fusion Bolt should be a one-button thing, and you shouldn't have to have mechanical errors like that. It's just too much button pressing. Provided you like actually press the buttons yourself and don't do something weird. Don't do something sussy.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay. We got the Spellbook and Wand set. I'm sorry, there's not really much to talk about the wand. It's okay. I think it's gonna be basic. Yeah, it's okay. There's not really much to talk about it. I don't think there was really that big of a jump from the Divine Tribolt to the Nightbringer. Besides their centimeter difference. But surely with the buff to Nightbringers, hopefully it will make a bigger difference. I think the enhancements on the Nightbringer one is actually pretty strong, I'm not gonna lie. The fact it gives you that critical increased damage effect and the Fusion Bolt is basically just another Reforge on top. It's already pretty strong by itself for Fusion Bolt itself. Yeah,
the bigger difference on blue since the upgrade, yeah.
Yeah, since the blue upgrade will help out too. So I think whatever they do to the wand in the future will be pretty much more of a quality of life thing than anything else, but we will see once they bring out more information with the Nightbringer buff.
Yeah. Let's see. Perseus Shuriken. Sakura Abyss is a skill.
I'm sorry to say this, but I think kunais really have been shafted when it comes to the tier list. Sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah, Shurikens are... Ninja in general is kind of a mood, I think. It's not that it's bad, right? It's just its damage skills don't do damage, but its utility is really good in the places it's applicable. Shadow Cloak is obviously really strong, like always. Let's see. Shadowbind is really useful on enemies that can be shadowbinded, but obviously, you know, not everything can be shadowbound. Smokescreen, I think a lot of people say it's really bad, but I think it's really good. The problem with Smokescreen is its duration is really short, but like, you know, it's -7 prot. That's pretty good. And then, obviously, Sakura Abyss is good if you have Ego, but like, you're forced into having Ego if you want to do any sort of damage to Shuriken.
Yeah, I don't know. Shurikens in general are kind of in a weird spot for me personally, because in the very beginning for Shurikens, they had like the first option from the NPC, and then they go right into the Hasi Anju Shuriken, which they wanted to make an argument with, you know, if you wanted to use more auto attacks or less auto attacks for more max. And then they introduced the blanded one, and then the Celtic one was kind of just there, kind of laying around. And honestly, they're really big leaps because there's nothing in between. There's no demonics, there's no divines, there's nothing in between those, and it kind of feels really bad, to be honest with you. It's like they just brought out the ninja kunai. It's like they brought out the kunais, right? Like they brought out the skill, but they didn't thought it through, to be honest. It feels kind of like a leftover, like I don't know how to say this without being rude about it. It just feels like a leftover material that they thought it was so good that they should bring it into the game because it was just that cool. But they didn't thought about it too deep into it.
I think this was at like the height of like the Naruto era, right?
Yeah.
Where everybody was like, so they wanted to like cash in on that.
Yeah.
But it feels like Ninja, it's all utility, and then it has 3 damage skills, one of which, you know, needs Ego to function. You know, no one's gonna be out here pre-charging Sakura Abyss, right?
Exactly, and there's just not enough skills for it as well, just to be this like one-trick pony neither. It's just not enough for what it is. There's just not enough skills, just not enough like weapons as well.
Yeah.
And just not enough enhancements for it. Its reforges are abysmal when it comes to damage, and they're all more utility based than anything else. which is
Yeah, like
kind of a bummer for some people because I know some people who really like Ninja and wish for it to do more damage. But honestly, even if it got bonus damage, and this is the worst part about this, and I know this is gonna make some folks really mad. I think even if Ninja it got like a 200% extra damage, it wouldn't even do anything still. That's how bad its damage is.
I think it's pretty bad too. I think the other thing we have to remember is like Kunai Storm is entirely reliant on resets. If not, its cooldown even with Erg 50 is pretty long, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the same thing as Shuriken Charge, except you don't reset on Shuriken Charge, it just has a fucking eternal cooldown.
Yeah. That's what I mean by
And-
like just not enough.
And so like, you use your Kunai Storm, you use your Shuriken Charge, and what, you stand there basic attacking?
Exactly. That's what I mean by not enough skills inside its own tree. It's just not enough to support itself, even.
I feel like they need to... I feel like Ninja needs like a full revamp kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think like they either need to choose to like add more damage to it, or they need to choose to like lean it into full utility.
I'm gonna be honest. Adding in new kunais is not gonna solve this.
Adding more weapons isn't going to solve the issue. Ninja just has a fundamental issue.
Yeah. I like the changes, what they've done with the updates recently. It's just not enough for it by itself, let alone as a utility base. Like, Smoke Bomb is nice, Shadow Cloak is nice, and Shadow Bind is nice now. But at the same time, was it really needed for those skills?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. You don't really need Perseus or even Nightbringer Shuriken. Like, to do all these things, like, you can just use a basic song. Like, you can use Blanded and you're completely fine, I swear.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say, it's just, Shuriken's kind of just flop, and even within tier system, it's just way too much of a gap for each weapon to not make it worth, and the fact there's no Divine or Demonics, let alone anything in between, and that's what Perseus is trying to do, it's just too much of a jump regardless. It's just too much of investment.
Mm-hmm.
Even asking for Celtic Shuriken is too much of an investment because of subtile marks and...
Yeah, just because it's used as an erg material.
Yeah.
Is the real thing.
Yeah, it's just too much of an investment for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a shame. It's kind of a bummer, but that's kind of the standstill for it. And I like that they're trying to close it off with Pierce, but it's just really not needed.
Yeah, Ninja suffers fundamentally, and that's the problem. Alright, well...
bows and crossbows.
Bows and crossbows? We already talked about Rare Nation, right?
Yeah, we're basically put them up the Rare Nation story where with the staff. Basically, these guys are going to get the Nightbringer treatment, and then the Nightbringer weapons themselves will be basically rune tier.
Yeah, that's what we assume is going to happen at least.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything to worry about for us NA players as far as our Ruination or our Ruination weapons, our bows and stabs getting power crept by the Nightbringers, and everyone having to go out and make them, but like, who knows?
I am kind of curious about the Nightbringer mace, one-handed, right? I am kind of curious what kind of enhancements they will provide to it. I'm assuming it's going to be Windmill Final Strike.
I hope it is a Windmill. It's probably going to be Windmill. I hope it's Windmill. Actually, the crit doesn't even matter since you don't have Nightbringer. Yeah, Windmill is the most important thing, I think, for it.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be Windmill, but...
It'd be Windmill Smash, to be perfectly honest.
Ooh, Smash would be really nice. Yeah.
I don't know. Blunt, the one-handed blunt thing it's a weird situation, I think. It's a like, the Nightbringer one-handed blunt, it's only designed for giants. And this is not a weapon that any other race uses besides giants.
Yeah.
And so it seems weird to see, like, we're looking at this from, like, the point of view that you're dual wielding these and they're both Erg 50, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, how do they buff this without it being better than Warlord at EK? In terms of damage.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue right now when it comes to the... Right there.
So, like, that's the thing to be afraid about, I think.
I know we skipped one Pierce weapon, but
We skipped a few of them actually.
we completely skipped the lance.
Yeah, we missed lance and we missed two-handed axe.
We could talk about the two-handed axe right now. The lance I'll be talking about more in depth with the Celtic one.
I think full swing. Let's be honest, the axe is for. It's not an elf EK weapon. It's a giant full swing weapon, right?
I hope it's gonna be like the same story that we're hoping when it comes to shields, where it allows all races. I think that's what it's gonna be.
What, do you want all races to be allowed to use giant full swing?
No, I mean allow the two-handed axe for everybody.
Two-handed axe should be allowed for everyone. Elves can have two-handed axes equipped normally.
Yeah,
They just can't use sword for some reason.
I'm hoping this will be like what elves can use for EK for a moment.
Even then, like, I don't see a world where it makes elf EK good. Unfortunately.
Sadly, I do agree there. It will probably help out a little bit, but it's not going to fix the issue for it.
Yeah, that will still have that fundamental issue of weapon choice selection for EK, which is a shame. I really hope that they just change all the two-handed swords to be equipable by elves. It doesn't make sense how elves can carry two-handed axes and two-handed maces, like these giant-ass things, but they can't carry a sword. Like, come on. Come on. I don't know. I like to look at this axe from the perspective as a giant using full swing, and like, I don't know, full swing, it's nice and all, but it just doesn't feel that good.
Yeah.
In terms of damage, it feels like I'm doing it to CC things more than I am to do damage. Granted, I use a Celtic signated Royal Warrior axe, so like it's not the best thing. But like, I would like to see full swing do more damage if they want to like actually make Nightbringer weapons and things do something. I don't know what they could do to it. I don't think more max damage is the way. I think the full swing damage enhancement needs to be
fix them first.
Yeah. Fix them first. Yeah.
I agree there.
Yeah.
There is another missing thing in here. It's the two-handed mace. It's kind of weird that they added to the Pierce.
They added a two-handed mace?
No, they didn't add a two-handed mace into it.
Oh, I think that's fine. Two-handed blunt weapons are weird.
Yeah, they're weird.
The best one we have is like Massive Despair Hammer, and that one's worse than Celtic Royal Warrior Axe now because of the exclusive weapon damage. It seems like they're just forgetting. They just don't want to touch two-handed blunts. Because they released Nightbringer Axe. Like, obviously you're not going to commit Ergen to a two-handed blunt anymore because, like, there's no upgradability later on.
Exactly.
So, like, the blunts just feel like a forgotten category of weapon. And, you know, I guess it happens when you have three weapons all trying to fill, like, the same role.
Yeah, and it Smash isn't too good as well, as all it does is just, it smashes pretty bad. They don't want people to abuse blunt smash. The thing is, it just doesn't work.
If people want to abuse blunt smash, they can abuse blunt smash. I don't think having a good weapon for it is going to change that.
I agree. I think axe smash is more more scary, to be honest with you.
It's 3 protection. That's not too bad. Is that what smokescreen means? If you add that and smokescreen, that's 2 protection. Or that's 2 piercing worth of protection down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, axe smash isn't bad, but like, not many people are gonna pull out an axe to smash. Yeah, I do think the two-handed axe is something, but I don't think it's necessarily something that I'll ever make, nor that I think a lot of people will ever make. I just don't think full swing is in that great of a spot right now, in terms of damage.
I think it's okay for what it is right now, but I think it should deserve a little bit more damage if anyone wants to actually get into it.
Yeah, but then again, I'm not, I mean, maybe I've seen some giants with D-Robe do quite a bit of damage with their full swing on their Berserker, but I'm like, I don't think they should be balanced entirely around, like, the damage you do at that point.
I don't think anything that needs D-Robe's help should be considered into that.
Yeah, I agree. Should we talk about Lance?
I actually want to talk more about that once we get to the Celtic one because I do
All
have
right.
a
Yeah,
good
that's fair. That's
getaway
fair.
into.
Okay.
Because we're going to be talking about two-handed in generals with the Celtic one, and the
Yeah.
bows and the lances.
Okay. Then is it just chain? We talked about chain. Animation's too slow. Yeah, bad. Sad.
Yeah, just slow.
I think that's every one of the Nightbringer or the Perseus weapons then, right?
Sure is.
Perseus one-handed blunts. Again, I think the blunt build is a really expensive build for giants, just because you have the upfront cost of 2 ERG 50s, and kind of expensive. Chain basic isn't too bad. Yeah, that's the thing with Chainblade though. Like, it's good for its utility, but its damage isn't there, and so like the Nightbringer chain gives like damage. So why would you build Nightbringer chain?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be using chain for damage realistically.
It's wanting you to use the abilities too because its set effects are Chain Impel and Chain Sweep. It really wants you to use them.
It's not chain sweep, it's spinning slasher. Spinning slasher and
Spinning
chain impale.
Slasher. Ew.
So like you don't realistically need Nightbringer or Perseus chain to gather Dorcha. You're fine with like beginner chain blade, honestly. Just ERG 50 enchanted or ERG 50 reforged for Dorcha Snatch.
Okay, snatch.
Alright. And like it accomplishes the same thing as like all these other fancier chains. I mean, it's the same thing. That's the problem with chain. You use it for utility, so like the weapon type doesn't matter. It's pretty much the same thing as ninja, honestly.
Bleep.
Talk about these Celtic weapons. All right.
Alright, so let's get the one fast one real out of the way because I'm gonna be very honest. I think the Celtic lance is honestly okay. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah, no, seriously. Because demonic to Celtic to lane chaser to, well, you're gonna obviously dip on the lane chaser, but from demonic to Celtic to divine, then to pierce, I think it's a really good addition. I'm not gonna lie. Because, like I told you before, with demonic weapons, they're really annoying to Corray and blacksmith, and that one is one of the worser ones because it requires Skadatch. And if you're a new player who wants to get into lances, and the best lance you have is a blanded lance, which I'm assuming what these weapons are going to be around blanded weaponry tier, by the way. I think honestly, no, that's not true because the blanded lance is familiar with the demonic lance.
Yeah, it's gonna be
So
a little better than.
so the Celtic one will be a little bit better, but it'll be a tier before the divine weapon. So honestly, I think it's a good addition to make that
Ooh.
little space.
Another thing to keep in mind, I think in Korea, with the new update, they are getting it so that you'll be able to do like this theater mission thing to like farm up these like points or something to like rent the Celtic weapon of your choice at any time, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
So like you're gonna be able to rent Celtic weapons, I believe.
Yeah.
I would assume these new weapons are also gonna be included there.
Yeah. So honestly, I think the Celtic lance is actually a really good addition. I know it seems a little odd because it seems really weird, but I feel like lances have the same treatment as shurikens, where there's just not enough weapons for them to make it tierless for them because right now it's just the wooden lance, the lion lance, the demonic lance, and then out of nowhere the divine lance, and then the Nightbringer lance. And that seems really a large gap, and it sounds almost exactly just like, like Ninja Stars. And I think adding in the Celtic one will honestly close the divine from the demonic, or like from the blanded, which I think makes more sense. And then with them adding in the Perseus one for Nightbringer in the future, I think it makes more sense as well.
Evie says demonic lance is kind of obtainable though, isn't it? But I guess we could ignore demonics altogether since they probably want to get rid of it. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they're phasing demonics out entirely. Besides, obviously, the Gloomy Sunday, which
Which
we still don't have a replacement for, which is its own thing.
I personally think we need to replace demonic gloomies. I still think that's something we really need to start, like, honestly just chucking demonic gloomies and getting a new instrument instead.
Yep. Yuiko next on love slapping race everywhere, so now you're cucked with no mount, yeah. So we know that a Lance rework is coming. That obviously that's really important because Lance is its own talent that has like what 3 skills of its own, and one of which is completely unused, and one of them is a passive. So like, we know that we're getting something, but we don't know what.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that they have an idea of what they're doing when they created a Celtic Weapons, as far as what they're like a basic idea of what they want to do for Lance.
Yeah.
I don't think Lance Charge is bad though. I think there's a lot of content where you can use Lance, and it's actually really good. So the thing is, we're talking about like single target damage. It's somewhat cheap, and like obviously, yeah, you're gonna be going EK, right? But like there's that cooldown window between skills where I think throwing in like a Lance Charge or two, pretty good.
It's pretty good.
And like it Lance is honestly really cheap when you compare it to the other like weapon that's like in its category, which I think is Knuckles. It's a lot cheaper. Like I started off Lance charging before I could do Knuckles, and I used my Lance to help fund my Knuckles,
Yep, yep.
and like it wasn't too bad. Like it's not the damage isn't bad. It's good damage. It's just really clunky and it feels weird to use. But if you can get past that, it's like I think it's a really good earlier game talent. It's dependent on reforges, but like it's a lot easier to get reforges than it is to like get a piercing enchant.
I don't even think you need the lance damage echoes.
Or
I think just having the main target echo or even
no,
the,
I think having like the cooldown on the helmet, the horseback charge on boots, the charge damage on gloves, and then like either horseback or main target on lance, preferably horseback because it's better.
yeah.
And then like you're golden. It doesn't. I feel like even at that, it doesn't matter what weapon you have. You use the Demonic Lance, you use the Divine Lance, you're still doing pretty decent damage.
Yeah. And I think having the Celtic would be really nice to have, just to have that between line from the Divine.
Yeah.
And then with the Pierce, that'd be really nice step up as well from there.
Yeah, Perseus. Yeah, it'll be a good step up from Divine. I think Lance doesn't really have a option for weapon above Divine. Well, it's not. They just don't. Like Nightbringer Spearhead realistically isn't an option.
And the jump from...
I think that the advantage for Spearhead, I think, is like you have a D-Rub, you want a Lance, and so you can throw Downburst on your Lance or something.
Yeah.
Like that's the advantage, and I'm like, that doesn't seem that amazing.
And I also felt like it was kind of punishing for people who had demonics that needed to jump up to divine. That's really expensive, man.
Yeah, it is a pretty big leap. And I think fundamentally Lance suffers from like Yuiko was saying earlier with like rates everywhere. Yeah, there are a lot of instances where pets aren't available, like 7N, like raids. So like your entire talent is unusable there, pretty much. I like how Theta, for the DPS in Theta, you have Lance Charge Horseback effect always active. And I think they should consider adding that someplace. I think maybe a set effect onto the Perseus and Nightbringer Lances would be really good to make it so you always deal horseback damage. Or it's always treated as on horseback.
Yeah.
And then I think Lance would be a lot more usable. Because we have to consider that there are a lot of options used for moving around that you can use. Like you can use Blazing Assault Slash to leap in and then back out and then Lance Charge back in. Or like you can Lance Charge in, Blazing Assault Slash onto the mob and then back out and then Lance Charge again. Like it's a good
combo.
Good little combo.
And the good part about this is that it wouldn't even make other skills weak. Like, example, Charge. It wouldn't even make that skill really weak, though. Because Charge itself is a really powerful skill when you're actually built into it. And I think just having a Lance Charge and you built into it, I think you should honestly gain that damage, too, instead of relying on a pet that's not going to be able to be summoned because of a range.
Yeah.
I think that's just way too much of diminished reason.
Yeah. I do think Lance is a good talent, but like yeah, it suffers from a lot of like quality issues that hopefully they address in the Lance rework that they're supposedly planning. Let's see what Evie is saying. Evie is saying, I think if you do add unmounted Lance Charge, maybe you give speed with it as well. I don't know about that one. You would just end up always holding Lance out to get movement speed? I think maybe they add more movement options or something.
I feel like just giving it the unmounted Lance Charge is more than enough, to be honest, because it will have the damage.
All they need to do is increase Lance Charge speed during Lance Charge. Yes, that would also be useful too.
Maybe 2 seconds.
Maybe 2 seconds of movement speed after Lance Charge. That could make sense then, yeah.
Yeah, I
think that could be decent.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, but increased animation speed. Yeah, the lance charge animation is pretty slow.
Hmm.
I also think it's really weird how certain pets have better lance charge animations than others. Like if you lance charge on a whale or a cart rider pet, it comes out significantly slower as compared to like if you lance charge on a nimbus or a corgi.
Yeah.
Uh, it's some it's weird when the pet choice actually affects the damage.
Yeah. And I don't feel like that should be holding you back as well, especially when you're lance
Yeah.
charging. It's your main talent and stuff. It should have. Honestly, the pet should really not hold you back. It should be
Yeah.
something that should be helping you, not holding you back. And I think that's what Pierce and Nightbringer should be doing.
Mhm.
Um, that's all I really wanted to talk about when it came to the Celtic lance and getting into lances in general. That's why we didn't really talk about it inside the Pierce section. I just wanted to say this Celtic lance is a really good ad, and it's a really nice that they're also adding it into Pierce as well. It's a really good
Yeah.
step. Now we're gonna be coming into the issues of the other two coming to game.
Yeah.
Bow it's honestly really unhealthy. I'm not gonna lie. The Celtic bow is not a healthy weapon to bring in. It doesn't cover any groundworks or where it should be. I arguably right before Bahalful became so cheap, like 20 mil or 10 mil. It was like 100 mil, 200 mil for this thing for the Bahalful bow, but I don't know. Even with it, the Celtic crossbow kind of did its job, and honestly, it just felt better to have the Celtic crossbow because what do you want on a normal bow, right? It's just
Yeah. It feels like I feel like in like the weapon range that the Celtic bow is in, assuming they don't have like a special arrow for it, which I don't think they are getting a special arrow for.
yeah.
Uh,
I don't think so.
uh then like we're looking at like other bows in that range and like what Salvation bow.
Yeah,
Well, when we could compare it to like a Celtic Royal crossbow,
exactly. We can.
like the piercing and on that ends up being better, especially when we're going to be using default arrows anyway, right?
Exactly. There's no arrows to be buffing it.
Uh,
Celtic crossbow is there.
the,
Celtic
the
Royal.
thing the thing about Celtic bow is though in Korea, I would assume that a baffle hunter and a baffle huntress are still somewhat expensive, right?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Even when those bows are
Yeah,
still towing or mel and stuff inside KR, I don't think this bow is healthy enough for the game to
yeah,
introduce them.
they'd have to make it like decently strong, and like it need to be stronger than the crossbow. I still think the crossbows are a better option at that price range.
Exactly, because you're not going to stick any type of piercing enchants on this bow, let alone any form of like signets when you already have the signets for your royal crossbow, which has them already, right? So what's the point of the bow? It doesn't make any sense. There's no arrows for it. There's no unlimited arrows. There's no enchants for this thing. And God forbid it's going to use radiant string and it might use ruptures. And honestly, if anything, this is honestly probably them thinking, hey, we can totally do a new erg rework for rank S and introduce these weapons into them. And that's what I think they might be doing, and it's gonna feel terrible because you're gonna make this bow and then you have to eat it.
Yeah,
And I don't that's really unhealthy to do. I don't like the fact that this bow is getting introduced, and I don't think it's really healthy at all for the game in general.
like Like the way it looks like is they just want to add a bow so people can be like, oh, I'm gonna erg this, and then I'm gonna transfer it over to my baffle hunter when I eventually get that, and I'm gonna transfer my baffle hunter erg over to my Nightbringer hunter or whatever predator. I don't know what the heck it's called. And like it seems like they just want it as like a progressive system for erg rather than addressing like the fundamental issue between crossbow and regular bow.
Yeah. And it's
Eve,
a shame.
yeah. Evie says a little off topic, but would you want to add the ability of using previous tier arrows on higher tier bows? Uh, mm,
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. I can understand. Yes, you can craft the bow, and then like you'd be able to like use your baffle hunter on your like next tier bow, but I don't think that's really that great
I
or too
can
important.
I can understand whenever people want like the Ruination arrow made first because they have a demolition bow.
Well, no.
But
Evie is talking about using the previous tier arrow on a higher tier bow, not allowing the higher tier arrow to be used on a lower tier bow. So it's like if you would get like, so like for example with Nightbringer Huntsman, it's a glass boss, Giga Glass boss drop, and so like it's pretty rare, right?
Oh, okay.
You
I
can't
see that.
craft it, but like you'd be able to use like a. She's asking if it would be healthy if you could use like a Baffle Huntress on it, and like I
Uh,
think it would be easier, but like I don't necessarily know if it's.
I don't think that'd be healthy for the game. It would be more quality of life and nicer, but I don't think that'd be
I
healthy
think
for the game.
actually I think it'd be fine.
Mm,
It helps. It does help. Like you said, it's to help with the transition. I think it does help with the transition a lot over to a new weapon, because like it's very difficult for you to justify transitioning from like one tier bow to the next if you don't have the arrow, because the arrow adds a lot.
that's true. It would be nice to just, finally make your rune bow, but you have a demo bow and arrow, and you can't use the rune bow because you don't have the arrow.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess that's not really unhealthy. I was kind of thinking more of like the Nightbringer bow with the powerful arrow in KR. That seems a
I don't
little.
think that's a problem. I
Mm,
think the Nightbringer Huntsman is really rare. That's why. And
yeah,
like I think it's a lot easier to craft a Nightbringer bow than it is to like find the arrow.
I guess it'll be fine. I just felt like it seems a little unhealthy just because the powerful Huntress arrows are basically the best in slot because they don't have ruination or demo, and them introducing the Pierce ones with the Pierce arrows, that means they'll be using the Pierce arrows instead.
Oh, does the
And
person not have an arrow?
yeah, it does.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Evie says, oh, so they have to have the Nightbringer arrows to have infinite arrows in KR. That sounds awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either that or they have the ego that gives
Yeah.
infinite arrows.
Yep. Yep. And most of them don't have that arrow as
Yeah.
well. That arrow is expensive in KR.
Yeah, it's really expensive. It's really rare.
But yeah, I guess it wouldn't be too harmful for us. It would be kind
It
of.
wouldn't be, but like, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
It
It's kind of a
seems
weird thing.
it seems kind of harmful in KR because they can really dent a lot into. Like it's really good, but I feel like a lot of people will not like that as well. I think for us in NA, it would be really nice to be honest with you. But I feel like people in KR wouldn't really like that. I think it's a good it's a really good like a brought up like situation if anything.
Mhm. But I still think archery, no matter what server you're on, it still suffers from that all or nothing kind of build. It's really hard to go halfway with archery comparatively to other talents. Like, if you're, I feel like the thing with the Celtic bow is like, if you're not full committing into archery, it's the damage isn't that great.
Yeah,
Like, you need to like have a lot of different things in order for archery to work, I think. And like, obviously, this is gonna change when Alchemical Stinger comes out. But like, yeah, it's just it has a lot of requirements that you have to meet, or else it's not usable.
Mac 25 gloves huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, this bow, no. Get it out.
Yeah. It's a no from me too. I don't see the point.
Um, okay. So, this two-handed sword.
Evie says, so just like the two-handed pierce problem, how about that for bows? Yeah, that's honestly what it feels like. It's just the two-handed pierce problem.
Pretty
Missing
much.
out on arrow is huge, to be perfectly honest.
Yep.
Arrow adds a lot. A lot.
That's why the Nightbringer crossbow is suffering so much right now.
Yeah. Alright. Celtic two-handed swords. It always comes down to the pierce problem. There's
The sword should
two
exist.
enchants for pierce. Meteoroid and 67th floor. One of them was a gacha enchant from like what, 12 years ago?
This sword should not exist. Why is it even getting brought here?
Evie says, oh, I meant the enchants too.
The enchants for bows?
What do you, what?
What do you mean by that?
A little more options for bows? I think more options for bows, yeah. There aren't realistically any options. So like what is like the default a bow enchants, like obvious that are like non-pallid, right? Isn't there like rocket paradox or something? It's kind of lame. Uh, Bows and KR don't have piercing enchants besides pallid either. They don't have last breath because they don't have ruination.
Yep.
So it's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about adding more pierce to lower tier bows.
I I don't agree with that neither. I don't think adding Pierce and Chance would help with the situation. Just like this guy Justin for saying need more
Yeah,
Pearson for staffs.
yeah.
I don't think that's healthy.
Piercing staffs just I don't know. I think at least in our case, ruination is good enough. It's cheap enough to make and to be considered good. I say cheap enough to make, but it's actually like a 1 bill item, and
You mean
yeah,
demolition?
Oh,
yeah.
one of our teammates got banned.
Cool.
It's doomed.
By the way, we're live, Paimon,
Yes, we are
Where?
on
Ooh.
Twitch.
on Twitch.
Nice. You guys don't multi, right? TOS Warriors.
Nice ban.
Nice man,
Here we go.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh, it's Nos.
It's nice.
Hello.
Wait, who has a podcast?
We are.
Where?
Who's streaming it?
Me.
Doggy.
Doggy podcast.
Yeah, it's called Concentrated Juice. We're on our first season, the first spell, because everything is spelled all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just talked about all the Persus Weapons, and then about Pierce enchants exclusives, and then we just talked about how nice Lance, this Celtic Lance is for the general, including the Pierce Lance in the future. It's a really nice stepping stone. I think Nos will agree with that. Right, Nos?
Yeah.
And we're all agreeing that the bows are really unhealthy to add. And now
Not
we're
unhealthy. It's just completely irrelevant.
it's pretty unhealthy. And now we're talking about the two-handed sword, and right now we're talking about Pierce enchants.
Yeah, like how do you release a two-handed sword and have it be used without having pierce enchants? So like the problem with the Celtic two-handed sword is like what is it better than Frosted Borealis and Fnatic? And it's worse than Divine Blade? Like what does that even mean? I think the thing that makes Divine Blade good is its accessibility to pierce. Solitude is really easy to get when you compare it to Meteoroid or 67th floor. And like the blade without pierce I feel like is the same as a Frosted Borealis.
Yeah, and I think it's just really weird to have this weapon. There's demonic two-handed, and it has the same range as well, splash range, because that was the main concern for Divine Weapon, the Divine Blade as well, was that splash range. How it was larger and making that Pac-Man shape whenever you got it to ERC 50. With Frosted Borealis and Fnatic, and then the Demonic, they all had the same splash range, but like...
Does that even matter anymore?
Not really, not anymore this time. So what is the
Yeah,
Celtic sword supposed to, like, be? Where's it supposed to stand? Where's it... What exactly is kind of the point of it, to be honest?
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like it has a real purpose.
Yeah, it doesn't have a purpose even without Final Helmet.
Yeah. Like we say, though, like unless they add like specialty enchants for these that have pierce on it, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make any sense.
It just doesn't make any sense to introduce this weapon at all, let alone even have it inside the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's just too many side grades for it, and there's just better options overall. And honestly, the Fnatic is really great right now. It has its own exclusive enchant. It already has its own upgrade path as well, and the Frosted Borealis can give you a smash enhancement if you really wanted to go out of your way for it too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for giants. So what's the point of this thing, and why was it introduced, and what exactly will it do when it comes to tier list, and where would it sit? Because there's no blanded two-handed weapon to base this off as well. So what exactly is it doing here?
What do we think all the reason they're releasing this is they want to like standardize weapon tiers? And so they're just making sure that like every like the main tiers of weapons all like fit.
That'd be really weird to do, because if they want to standardize all tiers, why would they start here instead of demonics or divines? Because they did it to Pierce, but they only did it to basically almost exactly the same as Celtic weaponry. But they're still missing some Celtic weapons, like the one-handed axe and the two-handed blunt. So, where's the idea coming from, right? It just doesn't make any sense logically or any sense of finishing off, the entire set.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're gonna go this far into completing the entire set, why not do it for the other tier sets as well, like Demonic, Divine, and like Pierce, that they're just barely right now releasing, by the way. And it just doesn't make any sense. Why not to add those other two weapons, like the two-handed blunt or the one-handed axe, even though all
Mm-hmm.
the other ones are available.
Yeah, it just overall it feels bad for two-handeds. I feel like there's just no winning because you can't, because it's always it always comes down to they've backed themselves into this hole with the Pierce problem.
Yeah, it's definitely purely because of the Pierce problem, because how early and how accessible Pierce weapons became for two-handeds. And then once it became into an enchant and more people started getting into it, they now have this weird tier system of what should have Pierce and what shouldn't have Pierce, and
Mm-hmm.
what enchants should have Pierce and what enchants should not provide Pierce. Exactly, as
Yep.
Yuriko says, because how strong Pierce is, if that Pierce matters to get to 0, like you can't just give so much max to the point where versus Pierce, because that was the whole point of Downburst. I'm pretty sure they really wanted to combat Pierce because Downburst is a really good example and it's a really good enchant. But do you really want to give it up for Pierce?
Well, like the option is like 3 Pierce 40 max or like what 70 max. Like obviously the 3 Pierce wins.
Yeah. And I like the fact that they tried to combat it, and especially when
I feel
adding
like
it to weapons.
I feel like Downburst was designed with Knuckles and shurikens and guns in mind
Exactly.
only.
Yeah,
I don't think they thought I don't think they thought about it replacing Meteorite ever.
exactly.
It's also why 67th is 67th on Ren staff. It's way better. It's just Pierce is too strong.
Yeah. And I think they just kind of placed themselves inside a hole where they're just basically limiting Pierce as well up to 9. Because we all know Lances can completely go over 9 pretty easily and pretty fastly. But then they're now building this hole where there's just not enough options and not enough weapons, or if they create new weapons, the first question that comes to everyone's mind, does it have Pierce?
Yep.
And that's kind of a bummer to say, to be honest with you. It's not even, talking about the set effects, it's not even talking about the utility. The first thing that people talk about is, does it have Pierce though?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the main issue of this sword, is that it's honestly bringing a huge light, and I think folks are just kind of ignoring that and thinking, hey, it's a Celtic two-handed sword that I'm not going to use. Oh well, who cares? But in reality, this is just a huge sign of saying, hey, we're bringing in this two-handed sword because we think we want to complete the tier set, but secretly, we just don't know what else to put there.
Mm-hmm.
Basically a filler.
Basically, there's like no good reason for it to be here at all. There's no good existence. There's other side grades that are right now in the game that are just far superior. And God forbid, if this thing was made by Blacksmith, I'm pretty sure it's not going to hit over that 100 max.
No, there's no way.
Exactly. So it's going to definitely hit lower than the 100 max. It's not going to be as strong as the Process Borealis or the Gagashi one, the... Dang, I already forgot what it's called, Silence, whatever, sword.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a bummer for it to be even introduced. Because I think the only reason why they're even bringing this now is for the rental weapons, because when they provide you with rental
They want to
weapons...
give it an option for two-handed.
Exactly! They're like, yeah, we've been giving you guys Celtic, Royal Knight swords, but what if we give you a two-handed?
Mm-hmm.
Because they used to give you the demonic two-handed all the time. Because they even know it's a bad idea to give you the Frosted Borealis.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. These, with the exception of the lance, yeah, these Celtic weapons just feel bad.
It's kind of a bummer. Quite upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dang, Lothar, we've been live for almost 2 hours.
It's like we talk about this shit all the time, normally, and we just go on for hours.
Exactly. There's one thing
On
we
huge
missed.
discussion.
And what's
What do we
that?
miss? What did we miss?
I don't know. The Lingu Lance and the Bahafal Slayer Sword. The Bagel Slayer Sword.
Oh, the Bagel Slayer.
So I did talk about the Lingo Lance just a bit. I'm going to be very honest with you. Even in KR standards, it's not realistic to make.
The lance kind of sucks.
It's actually pretty good for what it is. It has a higher
No, it's
max.
not.
Yeah, it has a higher max than Demonic.
Yeah, but it's also more expensive than Divine.
Yeah, it is. So, realistically, it was supposed to replace Demonics, actually, when it was first released. Because when Demonics were created, Saga was getting introduced at the same time. But before Saga was introduced, they had Celtic coming in before that. But God forbid if anyone actually made that thing and then... Because it was stronger, it was better max, and it did provide a lot more. It's just really expensive. And now, with the introduction of Divine Lance, a lot of people kind of skipped it. Plus, most folks kind of forgot about it too. It had a unique effect. Yes, I wish they actually brought more of those type of weapons. That they have unique effects on it. But then, it kind of becomes a gimmick kind of game. And I don't know if people are ready for gimmick, kind of weapons.
Well, so the thing is, like, it had unique effects, but those are really out there unique effects. If we think about, like, Perseus Weapons, like, the resets on Knuckles is a unique effect of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what they could add more, but, like, I don't know. They have people that probably have ideas.
Yeah.
And, like, what other things that they could add as far as unique effects go. But, like, adding, like, the Langu Lance and, like, the Langu Knuckles, like, their effects are kind of not very good.
They're not really good, sadly. Actually, I think the Lango Knuckle ones are actually kind of OP, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but you're not using Perseus then.
Yeah, that's kind of the bummer side of it.
Like, sure, you're getting, like, the damage, like, dot. But, like, I don't think it outpaces, like, having resets.
Yeah, sadly not.
They added Sinet so you could reset with the Sinet bonus.
Yo, you're gonna fight the Celtic Knuckle. 15% reset.
I mean, it's better than none.
I think they don't want to do more gimmick weapons because they don't want that gimmick weapon to be too powerful. I think that's why they're kind of backing off from it, because a really good example is the Pierce Knuckles, and a lot of people basically dropped all the other Knuckles down to trash. Even Merlin Knuckles, that was their gimmick, was to cast magic and knuckling. But I don't know. A lot of people kind of dropped everything because of Pierce Knuckles, because how good their gimmick was. It was really strong, the resets were powerful, and the Knuckles themselves are really powerful. I don't think they want to do that again, especially for like two-handed swords or bows, where they probably... Let's just make an example. Imagine a two-handed sword that had the same max as 100 max. There we go. Let's make the gimmick allow it to have a DOT, but that DOT goes off of 75% of whatever you deal whenever that happens. That's really powerful. That's really strong. That's a lot of damage right there.
Yeah.
Would it be worth using it now?
Maybe. I think it depends. Like, what does it proc off of? Like, any skill? Like, would it proc off of, like...
Yes, it will proc off from any skill you do, any windmill, smash, and
Like
any.
even Arcana.
Yeah, even with Arcana.
I think that could be really potent if it worked on Lightning Smash.
Exactly.
Because some of these Lightning Smash crits you got are really big.
Exactly. Do you want like something like that as a gimmick? Because right now with egos, they have a cap on them because they only go up to so much, right? I think it's like 10% or like something like that,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine for egos. But whenever you see the ego effect from your bleed effects, whenever you do like lightning smash and crit, and you hit that 1 mil on something, whenever you see that 10% on something, it's kind of pretty. It's like, whoa, your like neurons just activate in your head, like, oh, look at that 100k DOT, bro.
Like, I don't know. It's hard to say whether or not adding an effect like that would be good for the game either. Like, especially in the long term.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going on with Persus Weapons, where they have to make a new weapon to have the same gimmicks, just like what they did to the control bars and the rev to Pierce to technical. Because I honestly don't think the control bars even needed that, that weird set effect that, what's it called? The rev and Pierce bars even have. To be honest with you, I honestly don't think, having that critical damage for it. I can understand if they keep the enhanced cooldown is really nice, but the damage and then adding in that Act 2, like threshold damage too, that's
Kinda.
that's pretty weird, man.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen more utility on it. Like, why isn't, like, for example, Act 6 Crisis Range a set effect?
Yeah, exactly. More radius for crisis effect, or like
I don't know,
even
faster charge on Act 7.
exactly some stuff like that. Not like completely like breaking the game or like completely destroying weapons as well. I don't think.
Like,
I feel like set effects should be like kind of more like side
yeah.
grades, if anything.
Well, I think that they should play into the talent strengths, and I think that's the problem. Like, for puppetry and chain especially, like, they're not playing into the strengths of the talents. Like, puppetry is a utility talent. It's not a damage talent. We shouldn't like try and kid ourselves. It's a utility talent. You use it for Act 2ing bosses to stun them, and you use it for Act 6 crisising things to group them. Right? You're generally not like Act 1 spamming, or you're not Act 7 spamming generally, because they're just better options. But like, what it does at grouping and stunning, it's like really good. Why aren't we enhancing those? Why are we trying to like enhance like the damage when like it doesn't really need damage? Like, there are so many better side effects that we could have gotten that we just don't, and instead they just focus on increasing the damage. Imagine having Act 1 combo. I've seen some Koreans that like spam Act 1, but like at the same time, like, they're spamming it faster than I can. Like it's a lot faster than I can. And like, how do you compete with that? And even then, even though they're spamming it that fast, it still doesn't look that amazing.
Not anymore. Man, I remember when the crit enhancement was so crazy for puppets. Man, that was a time to be a puppeteer. Good times. Good times.
Puppeteers.
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 The tears. I think that's all we really have for both of those subjects, the Celtics and the Perseus.
Yeah. I
Anything
don't really have
else?
anything else on them.
Yeah, no.
I think enchants would be cool. I still think enchants are what they need.
No, yeah, I agree. Close-up Puppet Plus. I see no reason why not to allow the Colossal Puppet be a thing.
Yeah. I don't know. There is no option for like anything else. Like, I'm even fine with like them releasing like a Revenant tier 1. Like, I don't know. It feels bad that like you make your pup, but you die, and then you end up pulling out Colossus, and it's just the same thing. Like it's just the same as everyone else's. There isn't a Colossus option that's usable. You just have to use the little one. And to be perfectly honest, I like the feel of Colossus better than the
Period.
regular one. Yeah.
I know there's no difference.
There's no
between
difference,
them.
but like the animations feel so much nicer on Colossus.
And we all know that they can completely change how a skill looks as well because of these new skill totem things that they introduced. Remember, like they made a meteor change how it looks, or like Shadow Bind. Even God forbid, if everyone remembers, Crisis has a different animation now. I don't think anyone remembers that one with the leaves. God, I haven't seen that one in like ages because no one got it. But like, that's the thing. Why not allow us change the puppet with like little totems like that?
Yeah.
People without mods can't see the range. Yeah, people without mods can't see the range of their Crisis. Peria and Colossus should have different stats. I don't think so.
Oh. I also don't think so. I think it's fine having them as two options, but I think if the exact second you give them different stats, it's
one needs to be better than the other, basically.
Yeah, one has to be better than the other, and then why would you ever use the other?
Exactly. It's like also getting into a bad habit of like, man, I'm gonna summon this one more, or like doing this more. It doesn't sound healthy. Plus, you're gonna be summoning both of them anyways. Especially if one dies, you need to summon the other one like immediately, like in the middle of the situation. And then whenever that one dies, you try to summon the other one as soon as possible. And if it doesn't revive, that goes on a short cooldown, and you have to revive the other one. So I think them having different stats should be better or worse.
Yeah, like I even think giving them slightly different skills. If you give them slightly different skills, one's always going to be better than the other.
Yeah. So Colossus should be like water. No, I don't think that'd be helpful. I don't think that'd be good either.
Like you would always use one over the other. And like it's hard to justify anything in terms of damage for puppetry just because it's not a damage talent, it's a utility talent.
Even if the Peria had a better Crisis, like longer range, I wouldn't like that at all. Because imagine if my Peria is like dead, and I summon my Colossus, and I can't get the ones at the far edges just because I didn't have my Peria. That'd be kind of a bummer. Instead of, my skill set itself or glyphs.
Which enchant do I think is the best suffix for Metal Gauntlet? What is it?
Backbreak.
Isn't that
Yeah,
Steel Needle?
No, Steel Needle.
No.
Is it not backbreaking?
Yeah, it's also.
I mean, if you're looking for like the next best thing,
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's like Steel Needle backbreaking.
I feel like it's Steel Needle.
Backbreaking is for every hand slot.
Oh, okay.
Steel Needle is a prefix, doggy.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Look, man.
Let's give her a suffix. It's backbreaking.
Okay, then yeah, backbreaking.
It's just not a fun roll. It's like 8 to 15, I think. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yep, 8 to 15. So you want to roll like what?
Sparkling is pretty decent, but it hasn't been re-released in a while. I don't know how expensive it is.
More than backbreaking.
Backbreaking. Okay. I think it depends if it's been re-released recently or not for Sparkling.
I would love to talk about those enchants, by the way.
You want to talk about enchants?
I would love to talk about the set effect enchants.
Yeah, Sparkling is like 40 mil right now, it looks like.
I would love if they added more set effect enchants, by the way.
I think set effect enchantments are good. I think they're cool. I think, which ones do we have? We have mana reduction ones that aren't that good, and then we have attack speed ones, right? Those are the only two.
We also have mana shield
Poison.
ones.
What mana shield enchantment
Butterfly.
is? Oh, the when active. Oh, then we also have soaked. 10 magic attack while under a cloud.
Yeah.
And then you have like Avenger, which is like niche. You get
Avenger.
extra when.
There's
But
Owl
what-
with attack speed.
Yeah, I think side effect enchants are pretty cool in general. They allow a lot of flexibility in gear, which I think is weird.
I don't think it's too weird.
It's not weird. It's good. It's weird how a lot of them are gacha exclusive.
I agree.
Or very exclusive onto what slot they can be put onto, or not slot, but like what kind of item they can be put onto. Like for example, like marquee on gloves, like the prefix. I think it can only be enchanted on a gauntlet.
Would Sandglass be considered as a side effect? Because it is technically an addition. Oh, no, I don't think it should be.
No, that's the technique one. So it's in the same like vein as like experienced.
Honestly,
Fortification.
they should release more enchants like that instead of skill related.
Yeah, I'd like to see more enchants with cool things.
Side effects are anything that needs 10 points. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I just feel like they should honestly release more enchants that have like side effects and having like some
Other
type
useful
of
stats.
other useful stats instead of just stamina max. Actually, max is fine, but that's because
Max.
everyone likes max.
But like
like-
more things with like more of like the effects that you want while also being able to like hit other things. Like for example, Owl gives attack speed, but you're never gonna use Owl on something that you actually want damage on, because like you need max too.
Yeah, and it gives max, which is really nice.
Like they should release more things, I think, that help complete set effects.
Hmm.
And like I think adding set effect scrolls is good, but I think they're pretty rare from Glen, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Levitt fucking clear your hard mode anyway, so.
3 clears, and you're probably not gonna get the one you want if you do get one.
Yeah.
I hope I get the fishing one, by the way.
It's gonna take a long while.
Hey, don't bully my fishing effect enhancement scrolls.
I would like the healing one.
Me too.
Or Smash. I think healing Smash or max.
Stay on a hard mode clear cause no party. Sounds like a personal issue.
Yeah. Sounds like the real boss of Glen, the fucking scheduling issue.
Of course.
I'm needing 8 people.
Well, I'm gonna go on vacation for like the next 2 weeks to Spain, so like I probably won't be available. Just FYI.
That means we're clearing this week, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm going to Europe again.
Damn, he says again. Rich.
Again.
Again.
Rich people.
I mean, no, we need to go to my cousin's wedding.
Rich people. And you're not bringing me along as well. I can't believe you.
I mean, I guess you technically could fly to Spain, but I don't know what you would do. It's literally just my family. I think you'd be out of place, doggy.
Oh, you could do some-
Like it's like
Really
a
out of
family wedding
place?
kind of, because you know, like nobody knows you, but like except
could be a
me.
plus
But like
one.
it's a family thing, you know. Like
I see it as...
it's like you go to a family reunion and then you have some random and nobody knows them, but everyone tries to act nice, but they actually don't really know you.
That's
You know,
like-
I don't
Yeah,
know.
this is the
That's
family
like-
friend
That's when you-
thing.
That's when you just pretend you're family and you see.
Yeah,
someone
you have to
burgers you can
pretend,
get.
but like everybody's thinking in the back of their head, I don't know this person. Does anyone else know them?
This
You
is
know,
just
but like you don't want to
Knox plus
question it
one.
because what if you know, like, you know,
Knox just said I'm not family.
that's not true.
Plus, you're not
But
even
you're
taking
not-
karma.
But you're not blood related.
You're not taking karma.
Yeah, we're not taking him.
Wow.
He's not blood related either. What?
Rip karma.
He's a family friend, but
Yeah,
like
family
still, that doesn't forbid him to come to Spain with us. Like that, it's literally on my dad's side. Like what?
Whatever you say.
I'm sure we can take a vacation somewhere though.
Yeah, whatever you say.
Oh come on, don't be a party pooper.
Ooh, juice meet up in Las Vegas. I'm just saying.
Juice meet up in Las Vegas. Um, I think that's all we really wanted to talk about, really, right now.
Yeah. Unless we wanted to get into the new Arcanas. What about the Saluna? Yeah, maybe Dawn Blades will start dropping more commonly, and then we won't be hard gated by faded fragments. Like, I don't know. I want a Saluna as much as the next person, but realistically, if I get a Dawn Blade, I don't know. It'd be better off as gold someplace else.
D-Robe.
Yeah, I kind of want a robe. I do really want a robe.
I think I'd rather have the robe than the blade, I'm not gonna lie.
I think the blade is cheaper than the robe, but I could be wrong.
Better off buying my half dress. Still half dress, still no drop. Imagine stripping.
That sounds awful.
I don't like doing the stripping. That's some awful content.
Yeah, I already hate Phantasm enough. I already hate most content enough. I just want to run hard stuff. And struggle for 4 hours. Do we want to talk about the new Arcana, Doggy?
I don't know too much of it right now. I'd rather look into it a lot more, and then we could probably talk about it next week. Next
Alright.
Thursday. Right now, I think we could probably talk about events as of this moment. Because we haven't talked about anything about like recent events. We talked about the new Celtic Weapons.
Alright.
Celtic, where the tier weapons are, and then the Persus Weapons, and then general of where weapon tiers are. And then shields. We also talked about that. Buff Blaze? No, don't buff Blaze. Blaze is really strong right now.
I think Blaze is really strong, but it's really annoying to use, and so most people won't use it.
And I think the only thing we can really talk about right now that I know that I really want to talk about is the events right now. And honestly, armor progression in this game, it's honestly really weird.
It is really weird, because there's like no armor progression, I swear to god.
It
There's like no
wants-
armor progression, and then all of a sudden you're wearing the best in slot, I swear.
I know, it really wants you to do armor progression though.
But like, nowadays it just feels like your best option is Gacha armor into Glen armor.
So odd.
It's just like, it's like whatever rank, pre-rank 1 armor you can get, and then Gacha armor, and then Glen armor is honestly what it feels like.
Yeah.
Besides like certain exceptions where like Special Imperial Knight isn't necessarily the best, in which case you might as well wear Special Force Ranger for 8 max, right? I don't know. It's a weird situation with all the Gacha armors in NA. Whereas in Korea they don't really have that, so like they're wearing their ultimate Gios, right?
Yeah. Wearing
It's
also
like-
DS. They're even using DK because of that windmill enhancement, remember?
DK.
Yeah, DK armor, Dark Knight armor.
Does that give windmill enhancement?
Yeah.
Why didn't you use Refined Majestic?
Refined Majestic is really hard to get.
Yeah, it is. Because you have to farm Rundle.
Yeah.
Basic for hours.
Yeah.
And that's we all know that's not enjoyable.
Yeah.
At least I know that's not enjoyable. I still need my Refined Majestic gloves, so I can 10-piece smash eventually. I don't know. I'm just using Imperial Knight gloves for now. We'll see what happens later. Maybe I'll just keep them.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just keep them when I make my Glen armor.
Because right now the gear progression for this game is kind of all out of whack. I don't even know where to start is the worst part, because first off, you don't want to buy NPC armor, and like you kind of want a blacksmith armor, but like you want to get the real knight armor, but like
The way I think it goes is reforged gear, like random pre-reforged gear, into like ultimate Gios / Gacha armor, and then by then you're getting into Glen armor already. Upgraded gear gets personalized too, says Evie. Yeah.
it does, but there's magical armor upgrade does not personalize until the last upgrade. I actually asked the CM about this because of that the revert upgrade thing. I asked her if it actually keeps her personalization on it, and she didn't know. And I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna test it. That's for sure."
Yeah. We're talking about armor progression. Yeah. Have you guys looked at the design armor?
Yeah,
It looks pretty good. I really want it.
yeah. I really want the gloves for the mage and maybe the hat. The body not so much, or the boots, to be honest. I do.
I really want the body.
I just want the body for the just fashion. I'm not gonna lie.
I want it for the
Yo,
tank stats.
I just want it for the fashion. It looks worth working for. I agree. I think it's worth working for, but not one build worth of working for though.
Yeah, not like the one build that someone sold their orb for.
Nope.
Someone
Is
just
The
bought it
winter
for
terminus crystal for one bill.
I'm not dropping one bill for that. I can buy a tri-elemental body cheaper for one bill. It'd be 900 mil.
Yeah, I was like, you mean for one bill, right? The female special elemental harmony, the female mage gear tax.
900 mil.
I don't know what it is with mages, and they wail out on these gacha armors, and then they run around with their like Celtic druid staff.
Hey, that's really rude to the KR people. Just because they don't have Nightbringer weapons doesn't mean you have to pick on them on their Celtic weapons.
Yeah, they also don't have special elemental harmony either. For giant, is the gacha set of armor better than the colossal valiant set? Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends, but for the most part, yeah.
I really like the Colossal Valencia set. I think when they introduced that for the Giant update, it was really good
No,
for
it's good.
gear progression.
It's good if you want to be tankier, but like there are way better armor sets than colossal valiance that I don't think I'd even bother crafting it anymore.
Yeah, I agree to that. It was really nice when they introduced it, though.
Yeah. But then again, it all depends what talent you're building for and how you build.
I think the armor progression for Giant is a lot more easier, to be honest with you. But for humans, and especially elves, oh god.
Yeah, giants, we have it really easy. It's just a lot easier to gear up, just because heavy armor is an actual option for us.
Yeah.
For close combat in EK, generally you want to run Special Imperial Knight for the crit percent, or the 7% crit damage. Or you could be, if you are running a sword that doesn't have smash enhancement, you could be running Refined Majestic body and gloves for a smash and windmill effect. But those aren't the Refined Majestic isn't gacha armor and it's just expensive. I would look into Special Imperial Knight, but even that gets pretty expensive these days now. It's been a while since the gacha came out.
Yep.
It's a lot harder to find the gear you need. I think if you aren't the richest right now, building Colossal Valence it's fine. It's just I don't know how much you want to invest in reforges into that.
Yeah, I think getting pre-rank 1 reforged armor would be better.
Yeah, I think pre-rank 1 reforged gear is probably the cheapest and the best option. I don't think you realistically or in early game need as much defensive stats as you do in late game. But yeah.
What should I get for 40 mil?
40 mil, I think it's the most important to have like a decent weapon for EK in close combat.
I agree. I think weapon will be better than armor overall.
Yeah.
And then whenever you look at armors, you should be looking for the reforged than really the armor itself.
Although EK doesn't realistically have that many great reforges. It's just the glove reforge and the shoe reforge. The glove reforge you want combat max or sword mastery max if you're using a sword. You got a Frosted Borealis? Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's decent. It's something to hang on to, and I honestly think you just slowly save gold. I think, as far as the damage goes, you're better off probably saving a few 100 mil slowly over time, and then getting a Divine Blade with 3 piercing on the Solitude roll. But I don't know too much about earlier game progression like that.
No, you got it, Sam. having save up for the Divine Blade for the piercing is better.
Yeah, because LA Knight only has like a few useful reforges. It's like the assault slash ranged on shoes, and then like combat max or sword max 20-ish on the gloves for extra max.
Mhm.
Other than that, it's a lot of just enchants. Like I would see what you can get for decently cheap, and work from there, and then just focus on saving. Personally, but I know it's a struggle gearing up early game.
And then for this week of events, it's the
Yeah, do we want to talk about events?
I forgot what this week event is. The new updated one. It's like patch or
Step
something.
by step event. Ooh.
The step-by-step event. It's okay. It looks
I'm-
pretty.
It's a good event. It's a good event.
If you need more pets, yeah.
So the good thing about this is you can get a cat, and you can use cat pet for
Cat Tower.
on your homestead. It's really good.
Yeah, that's
Is
what I'm looking
Tame's
for.
any good? Tame's armor is good if you need to hit the smash set effect, I think. I personally wear 2-piece Tames for smash set effect,
Broken Horn works pretty well too.
but Broken Horn is also good, if not better. And there are a lot of
Keeping-
different options.
Yeah. Keeping in
Assuming-
mind, if you upgrade to D-Blade, it comes with Smash Enhancement, so like,
Yeah,
just
when you
be-
eventually upgrade to D-Blade, you don't need smash enhancement anymore.
Yeah.
And then you get, eventually, when you upgrade again, you start needing it again. But
Yeah, but like, that's a long ways to go.
it
Like,
doesn't really matter too
Yeah,
much.
that's a
I
long
would
way.
I would personally focus on saving for a D-Blade with piercing enchant on it.
no, you could just enchant any armor set for the most part with
Yeah,
good
that's-
damage.
Good damage on anything.
And then, well, Glenburna Fever. Warm-up event. What else is on? Besides the master plan,
Do you want to talk about combo cards?
we can.
Black combo card event. I say the best combo card to make is Fighter.
I disagree. It's time to make the Fusion Bolt comp. Nah, I'm joking. I agree with him. The fighter combo card is probably the most friendliest one right now. And
Yep.
to all the people who are trying to make Hailstorm, please, brother.
Yeah, Hailstorm, you're actually coping. You're not gonna get it, and it's not very good. Hailstorm damage isn't good. If you want to actually make a mage combo card, you're probably better off making a 6 fireball and getting really high percent rolls in all the slots.
Please.
I was thinking of an archery combo card. I might just stick with 6 mag and try to min-max it.
Archery is another good option. You really want to get like a... If you are going for one of these cards that you can roll with advancement badges, you really want to be making sure
Yeah,
you're hitting the highest percentages in slots 6, 5, and 4, especially.
Yep.
Yeah.
And max archery. True.
AR5 Magnum. Have you tested it, Yuriko? Do you know if each arrow from the arrow revolver right click?
Yeah,
Or you
so
shoot
it's a
all of them
very
at once
important
count?
question that I've been wanting to know too.
Geo asked what should the percentages be for 6, 5, and 4? It should be 30, 20, 15, I believe.
Yes. The
Yeah.
gaps between the numbers, not the actual
Yes.
values themselves.
Yeah, this
but
is the gap
gaps.
between the difference between numbers.
Yeah.
The wiki, if you go into the combo card page, has a nice little
Yeah.
calculator to help you figure out the percentage breakdowns.
It's really nice.
Yep.
And then gotchas. No, you didn't set the desert one. It's okay.
I think the outfit is cute. There is the magic attack, and then the music buff duration wing enchant, which I guess I don't
so
know.
the 2 enchants.
I think they're pretty cope, but
Super cool.
I know some people are into that kind of thing.
Let's talk about the more important gotcha, the special Saravic one.
I think the special seraphic armor is actually really cracked, and I think it'll be really good for when Dark Mage comes out. Not gonna lie,
Yeah.
because it seems like Dark Mage uses a lot of mana, and the mana regeneration you get from special seraphic is actually really, really big. It's
Yeah, it's stronger
like-
than.
yeah, it seems to be
Whale.
faster than Whale buff, and so you can have both running, and like it generates a good amount of mana.
I agree.
I think.
The
Like,
way
obviously, it's not the best for damage, but like if you want more mana upkeep, it could be really good. I don't know exactly how well it's going to work with the Dark Mage or how much torture you're going to need with Dark Mage
honestly,
to be transferred from mana, but like
to be
I
honest,
could see a universe where Special Seraphic beats out Elemental Harmony just from the utility alone.
Quick
um,
swap for
Yeah,
the
quick
100
swap.
MA and do a quick swap for the
Full
buffs.
spammers only. Yeah, I think it'll be especially good for Fusion Bolt.
Mhm.
I think Special Seraphic will probably be best in slot for Fusion Bolting, just because of how much torture you're probably going to be wanting to use. The
Yeah.
extra mana regen will probably help a lot.
it's also really nice if you don't have the limit break for the magic attack enough for the piercing from the 1.1k and 1.2k for that
Yeah.
30 seconds of extra 100 mana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could also give you the piercing during that 30 seconds as well with the
Yeah.
extra 100 MA.
If you just don't meet the requirement there, it'd be really nice to have.
Let's see, Geo says, I like that it's a nice armor, but it's way too expensive. Granted, it's a lot cheaper than when Elemental Harmony first came out. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than Elemental Harmony when it first came out.
Sure.
I think Elemental
Female.
Harmony when it first came out was like 400 mil for the female version.
Yeah, roughly. Because
And
female
then,
tax.
yeah. And then, now I think the female version is like 800, 900 mil for Elemental Harmony. So I think if you want a mage armor, Special Seraphic might be a good option for you to pick up now while it's cheaper. Especially if you're a male. If you're a male, there's no reason for you not to grab a set now.
Is it because I'm unlucky that I don't get Final Strike Reforged out of my gear? What do you mean by that?
Every Reforge has the same chance of rolling. They're equal. So it's just gotta throw more Reforges. But personally, I don't think Final Strike Reforges are too important.
The wig. What do you say about it?
On paper, it looks really broken. When I tested it, it did not give me anywhere close to the amount of protection it should have given my pet on paper.
Agreed. I hate
People
that.
are telling me that they get like 34 protection out of it, and then I'm like, okay, well, when I tested it, I got like 4.
Same. Even my snowman only got like 3. I was like, this is
And,
don't do anything.
and then I asked these people if they tested it, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, I don't fucking believe you, but okay.
But Paimon tested it too.
Paimon said he tested it.
True.
The pet I tested on was a maxed out Kart Rider pet.
And my snowman was maxed out too, and only got 4 from it.
Yeah.
And then next on the list is the boots.
The boots?
No, sorry,
The boot?
not the
Okay.
boots, not the boots. It's the gloves.
The gloves? Oh. The
Yeah.
Seraphic gloves? Yeah, they're better than Traumador.
Yeah.
We got a PNG. Let's see.
Yeah, PNG.
Dealing cat. Is this before or after? Oh no, it's after. I can see the link.
Just after.
330 protection. Is
Yeah.
that more? I don't know. I don't use the practice card.
Yeah. Last is ready to go off on the boots. Yeah, I was. Knowing that Traumador set came back out, do I think the special Forest Ranger set will come back out too? Maybe eventually.
Probably not.
I don't think it's necessarily good enough to warrant coming back, though, to be perfectly honest.
I don't think it will.
But then again, we did get Saint Guardian back recently,
Yeah,
I think.
recently.
So anything can happen.
I mean, I feel like maybe a tomb can come soon. It's every 2 years now.
Yeah, they put it in Tomb Event too, so like, who knows? There's a lot of ways we can get Special Force Ranger, and I don't think it's the best armor.
Is it not in Glenburn as well?
It was, but we did not get it in the Glenburger shop.
That's because it's KR did. I think KR didn't have a side effects version. But then,
Yes, KR does not have set effect armors from gachas.
so I think that's why they got there.
Nor do they have gachas enchants.
That's fine. Battlefield buff effect increased by 10 on gloves. Go.
It's 5. Plus 5 music buff. Traumador is
Yeah.
plus 3. 5 is greater than 3. Pretty good.
And how do you feel about your Troubadour now?
I'm not re-rolling Pure Whisperer again, and I'm not buying a glove. Because surely someone will have a better BFO than me.
Nuts, how do you feel about these new pair of gloves?
Which ones?
The BFO
Seraphic.
ones.
It's a Seraphic one.
Well, it's a bummer they didn't release the enchants to go along with them.
Are you mad about it?
I mean, well, I don't get mad about a lot of things. I'm just kind of disappointed.
Disappointed.
Yeah.
Got it.
It does feel bad that it literally just directly power creeps an item.
Yeah. Basically.
If it gave
Yeah,
free
it's
music effect for Battlefield Overture, I think it would have been fine.
especially annoying when like
Yeah, you have to.
it's so hard to roll enchants again.
It's really hard to roll the Technical Maestro max rolls.
Yeah, like if you.
And if you're buying Special Seraphic and you're not going for the max roll Technical Maestro, what's even the point of buying the Special Seraphic or the Seraphic gloves?
Okay.
It's just unfortunate.
I love how legitimately 80% of people I talked about these gloves, legitimately almost everybody is just disappointed and annoyed by it. No one's
Yeah.
happy about it.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Because you're trying to.
People are
trying to
gonna
remember.
wail on it anyway, though, so it prints next on money. But like, it's not good for the game.
I'm gonna say I don't think these gloves are even healthy for the game. To be honest with you, I think it's kind of
No,
more
they're
of a
not.
burden,
They really feel bad.
kind of a dick move.
Just because of how annoying it is to reroll gear, especially when we talk about Bard gear, where it's like, okay, your glove enchants, they're gacha only. How much was technical? Like 150?
I think I saw some for 200.
Yeah, like
Ooh.
200, and then you have to get a 4 roll on that. If you don't, you have to enchant extract it for 50 mil each until you get a 4 roll.
Yeah.
And then you have to slam maestros on it until you hit the +2.
Yuck.
And like, how much were maestros? Like what, 150 or something like that too?
Yeah. Okay. And
Let's-
next on the list is the boots.
The boots.
The
Okay, I
boots
think
Boots
the
are
boots are like
broken.
a necessary upgrade.
There's no reason why you shouldn't own a pair of the boots.
Yep.
must requirement.
Snag those ASAP. They are
Yep.
good.
And if you are too poor to afford them, consider getting the Trombador Wigan hat for the fantastic horse effect.
Yeah, those just
Well,
as
they're
good,
also
almost
cheap.
good. Yeah.
You
Must
should
require.
just have one or the other at this point. There's, I would say, close to no reason why. Let's look. Seraphic shoes are 40 mil for the male pair, and what the heck, and 62 mil for the female
Female
pair.
tax, I'm telling you. Female tax.
Good
Female
luck,
tax.
everyone. Definitely snag a pair though if you can, and if you can't, let's look at the Wigan hat.
I think Wig. At least lurking 15,
13.
13.
Let's see. For the male, it looks like you can snag the hat. There's one in the auction house for the Trombador Wigan hat for 7.5 mil.
Whew, that's dirt cheap.
Yeah. And then the cheapest female one is 13, so they're quite a bit at 13-ish. But you should probably consider getting one if you haven't had one already, I think.
Mhm.
Big expensive female tax, yeah. I feel like that's why the D-Link hat is really expensive too, because it's just people who want it for fashion, and they don't even know what a Divine Link is.
All right. Snowy Summer Warm-Up Event. It's basically Master Plan. Sorry. I don't know why they even named it this way.
It's called Master Plan. That's like the second tagline in it, isn't it?
No.
I think it is. I'm looking right now. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's the Scout Snowy Summer Warm-Up Event.
The Scouts Snowy Summer Warm-Up Event. Control F. Master
Master Plan Inventory.
Plan.
That's the plan inventory.
Oh dang, it is. I
Told
could have
you.
sworn there was a tagline.
I told you.
I could have. I
Not
don't
a
believe
Master
there.
Plan.
I know there was some place.
And not a Master Plan.
No.
I only play during Master Plan, so I'm gonna quit, guys. Now.
No.
It's
Master Plan only players? The hats and the boots stack, or is it one or the other? It's the strongest one takes effect. So if you are weighing both, the boots will take precedent over the hat.
Yep. And I'm glad they actually fixed that instead of like not having the hat, which is still an issue right now.
yeah, it's 'cause- I mean, obviously, there's a clear difference between not having anything at all versus
Yeah, so
having.
we can
at least
talk. We
a
can
hat.
talk about the boots real quick. So the boots add plus 30. So to Fantastic Course, which means when you drop the green healing circle, this goes from +3 to HP MP per second to +30. Well, +33 with the boots. So it's a big increase. And then it's for the red circle, it's a +30% slow. So it goes from what I think what 20 or 30% to 50%.
Yeah.
So it's the 50% all stats and movement speed down, and then further decreases the attack speed and charging rate. It's actually really good.
Yeah.
And it's
That
super
decrease
noticeable.
lowers their attack
Yeah.
by
It's
a
really nice
lot.
on the donut. So on Feth Elite Donut, I can just drop the red circle on the donut, and it pretty much only does 1 damage after that, because of how much its stats have been reduced. It
And it's
becomes really weak.
nice.
Yeah, it's really strong, really convenient.
It's a must requirement on every account now. I don't care
I
what
wouldn't
anyone
say-
say.
I think you want at least the hat, Wigan hat,
Nope.
no matter what.
Must requirement.
But like, the boots are like really big. If you could afford to shell out the extra money for it, you should. You really should. Well, they're
must
still cheap.
requirement.
Must requirement.
They're just way too good.
Next update, Glen Burna, what's your thoughts?
Glen Verna's really good. I like how easy normal mode is for most players.
Okay,
It's really accessible for new players.
we're skipping
The
one
drops
file.
are.
Fred,
Yeah,
Glen
like,
Burna.
yeah. Yeah, what about Glenverna? I mean, I think it's fun because obviously, just something new, different dungeon, right? Like, just new mechanics, new stuff. It's always very interesting to see. Very exciting.
Okay, you sound like Lothar. Skipping. Nos, Glen Burna.
Bears.
Bears.
Bear, 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 bear. We
No,
all-
but still, that translation though, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Evie says it's different. You're outside instead of being in a dark room all the time. Yeah, instead of being in a dark room all the time, you're playing dayside and you're permanently blind.
you're playing light mode or dark mode. Exactly.
We're outside now. We're not inside like a dream or like in like this fog area or in the darkness. I like how it's pushing people
got-
away from soloing. It's
Yes.
it's okay.
It's okay about that, I think.
Yeah, I think it's
I
okay.
think Crom already pushed a lot of people away from soloing.
Yeah, I think Crom did a better job
Yeah.
on
I think the difference is that the requirements for Glen Verna is a lot easier than the requirements for Glen
Yeah.
100%.
Maybe the same as data too, right? Like data, you can't. You're
Yeah.
like forced to get a group of 4.
that. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good argument. I agree with
Yeah.
that.
It does feel good. You are more incentivized to run with more people for Glen Verna. I think Theta is its own thing.
Yeah, data's true.
Because yes, you can run a Theta with less people, and you get all the keys. Whereas like Glen Verna, you don't know less
Yeah.
people has the same amount of keys you get.
Exactly.
Less mobs, I think, or something.
Something like that.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
So,
I know. I think Glen Normal is really good. I think Glen Hard is very difficult, and it's very fun to those of us that can enter it and that are ready for it.
Yeah, it's like a challenge,
And after that, it's all like this challenge in terms of like skill.
I wish there was kind of a medium side though, because I feel like the giant leap from normal
I
to
agree.
hard is quite a really big leap though.
Yeah, there is a big issue with how easy Glen Normal is, and then how difficult Glen Hard is. It would have liked
Is-
to see like a medium difficulty, because I would say Glen Normal right now feels like advanced tech.
Yeah. It's really easy, it's straightforward.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really easy. It's pretty hard to fail unless you just don't know what's going on.
yeah.
The mechanics are not the same. You're not doing like braziers or bringing animals.
Yeah,
to
you're
the
not
other
doing
side.
anything. The most complicated thing is getting one person to click the ember onto the campfire thing.
yeah, that is
Yeah.
actually
Next year.
complicated for groups to coordinate for some reason, and I'm like, come on now, just
Yeah,
stand
like-
there, please.
Yeah.
Just stand.
and then you're typing in chat to these randoms, and then they're just not reading. You just see them off just hailstorming some random enemy.
Yeah, or like you have to kill.
The thing is, your
or else
text chat doesn't
infinite.
appear to the other side. I don't think. Like it doesn't.
Oh,
You can't
yeah.
hear
It,
the other
it
side.
doesn't, but like then the people on on that side are like still not clicking it, even though you're standing right next to them, spamming and chat at them, and they just don't read it.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta use that party chat.
Yeah.
The other side is just waiting and confused about what to do. They're like, "Are we
Yeah.
supposed to kill the mobs? What do we do?" And then
And you're just like, no, we're just waiting on the other side to click something, and then the other side is just yelling at one person to click something, and that person is just completely not reading chat.
It's okay, my Mavi players don't read.
And then so you just wait and hope they just die, so it skips the mechanic.
Yeah. Overall, Glenmurda, I give it an 8.
Out of what?
10.
Dang. I give it a 7.
I was thinking about 7, but I feel like I bumped it up 1 rank purely because a lot of people really want to do it, and it actually made a lot of people really get into it. Like, I've seen people who like went out of their way to level up their Arcana just to even get there. Like that alone, if content is forcing you to do something that you normally need to be doing something anyways in the game,
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
that's really good.
Yeah.
That alone,
I agree.
That alone is really nice to see. It's not like a quest like Generations or anything like that,
Yep.
where you could just set it to the side and then
You
one of
need
your
to
friends.
actually have leveled up and invested into your character.
Yeah, and I
So
think
like the bare minimum, and I think our Arcana level 50 is a very bare minimum.
yeah, I like the fact they did that, and that's why the only reason why I bumped it up from a 7 to an 8.
Yeah.
I think overall, I think it's kind of a glitchy and kind of punishing for its hard mode, and there's like a few things that I would like to complain. It's mostly due to the Yeti, but overall, I think
Yeah.
giving it an 8 out of 10 is fine.
I can complain about the Yeti too, but then again, our group is hard stuck on Yeti. So, until we get past that, we're just gonna complain. It's too difficult, I swear.
Yeti's lame.
So I think there's one thing they could have improved on. Like, you know how Chrome had like a thorough quest mode where it's like actually like explained through? I don't think Glenn had that.
Yeah, Glenn
think-
did not have like a quest mode where it
Like
explained.
you're literally have
But
to outsource to like, the other guides that people have made.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I brought down the score from that too. It doesn't
Yeah.
do good on explaining what you're supposed to be doing, and
Yep.
the big jump from hard is just too large. And honestly, there's like a lot of stuff inside of it that is really punishing that a lot of players won't get on their first try as well. So,
like the
something-
final boss going in blind. How are you supposed to know the mechanics?
Yeah,
Like what?
Yeah.
No,
How are you supposed to know?
It's a bit much for that
How
final
are you
boss.
supposed to know what that counter in the top right does?
To have
Yeah,
never
exactly.
been introduced to it and like no other, you can't face this boss any other way. So like, what
Like
are you supposed to
literally
do?
the last quest before you like technically complete the prologue is you just enter as a duo, just hit the grandma, and then that's it. That's basically it. Versus like Crom, where it's like, yeah, you enter, like you have to do several times, right? You
Or then
have
you
to
get
reach
quest
Garrison.
mode to actually get the
Yeah.
to get the glass.
Yeah, exactly.
the next update, which is right now, is one step at a time. Good event.
Yeah, good event. Get your cat for your cat tower, so you can get your crit damage. Get your other pets too. Big,
Yep.
good event.
Bunch of gems. Pretty easy
Yep,
event. too.
easy event too.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty.
Pretty good.
Pretty.
Yeah, at least
I'm glad.
they
I'm
made
glad it's an easy event in the middle of all this hell that is master plan.
Yeah. They at least made it mini gems instead of actual pets. If it was actual pets, I would have been.
Make sure you get your select your scouting trainer for the week. That reset today as
Mhm.
well.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much all the events that are going on right now.
Yep.
and Everything.
Get your toasty tokens. Get more Glen Clares.
Yep.
What else?
Bag is pretty good. It's okay. It's a 2x1. It's pretty good.
It's a
Get that one
bag.
for 8x8.
Yeah, it's just it's a bag.
Well, if you need more inventory space, get it. If not, just more coins.
Yeah.
Or just more keys for Glen. Those frost flames are just still at a pretty high price, I think.
I think it's like 1.7 though. Bad.
Nope, frost flames are still at 1.4 mil each. So like,
Right. The new link levels, we can sprice
Yeah, we
over
can talk
those
about
really
link, like,
fast.
100 coins is nothing. Get the bag. Yeah, if you don't have a better bag for the space in your inventory, get the bag. If you do, obviously don't get the bag. It depends. But yeah, let's talk about the link levels.
Let's talk about the link
We
levels.
want to talk about the same part first?
Yeah, let's talk about the same bar. Let's start level 9 and how horrible it is. No, I'm joking. We would start.
The only person who would really appreciate this is one not only Pulse's mean.
It's pretty bad.
I'll get started on 6. I'm
That's
joking.
5. There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
I clicked on 6. I saw the Roman number. Yeah.
Alright, so step 6, what is step 6?
Step 6.
Is it? This is the Warmth of Life, right?
Yep.
So you stack
Warmth of
healing
life.
to
Stack
get
healing.
the.
Yep, increased healing. I think it's good. With the changes to Echo of Salvation being instant cast now, it's a really potent healing skill. You should be using it as much as you can. Especially if you're an archer, it's really good.
Mm-hmm. There was a glitch in the very beginning. They have fixed this glitch where party healing didn't affect it or even brought it up its levels to 5. They did fix this to some of the folks who don't know that. That's overall, it's really good.
Yeah, it's good. The healing is really big.
Yeah.
Doggy heals me a lot in Theta with like 1 click now. It's really great.
And Wind of Recovery per stack as well with Warm of Life is pretty huge as well in pets.
Yep. Stacked up to 5 stacks of Warmth of Recovery, I believe, right? Or
Yep.
Warmth of Life.
Yep.
Yep. That's 35% increased healing on Hands of Restoration, Echoes of Salvation. It's really big.
Yep.
It's really big for like the big AoE heals with Echoes. Alright, link 7. This thing is broken. This is obviously the best link for Harmonic
Yeah,
Saint.
it's 7. Yes, because that pierce resistance.
That
I don't
pierce
think
resistance is pretty big.
they showed a specific they quantified like how much.
I
if
assume
it's
it's 5 protection. I think the piercing resistance, from what I've heard from KR, doesn't actually matter that much.
Oh really?
But the 20 protection is huge.
Yeah, 20 protection is pretty huge.
Like 20 protection is really big, really big. And then the Voice of
Really big.
Vitality recovery going up 75%, or to 75 is really big too.
Yeah. This link alone is really huge and strongly recommended for everybody to get.
Yep. If you're in St. Bard, you need to have at least link 7, I think. Like it's really good. Just for the voice healing, just for the voice protection. I can, in Theta now, with all the extra protection I have from it, I can pretty much just sit there tanking lasers and only take like 200 damage.
Yep. Link 8.
Link 8, Blessing of Protection cooldown and increased duration. So, I think the first thing we need to talk about is Blessing of Protection can no longer be time shifted.
Yep. That was on an update when Glenverna was released.
Yep. So, no more time shift blessings. Which is good. Time shift blessing, let's be honest with ourselves, was really overpowered.
Yeah.
Yeah. But 60-second cooldown. What's your cooldown on it now? Like, what, 200 seconds, right?
120.
120, yeah.
So
If you have a 2-minute cooldown on it, it's good. The plus 5 seconds is, or the plus 2 seconds means it's a 5-second long duration, which is a lot of time. It's really good if you are running like Glenn, for example, and your team needs to relink. You can just call for the Blessing of Protection. Your Harmonic Saint can proc it, and you guys all have a safe opportunity to relink. The same thing with popping it to like re-bard buff if you need to re-BFO your party. It's a good tool to have.
You can use
the important thing is I don't think a lot of times you want to use it reactionary, meaning you want to know ahead of time what you want to be using blessing on and use it there, and just maximize the amount of value you get out of it by using it as often as you can.
Yep.
It's definitely not a cooldown that you want to sit and wait and save on for the perfect moment, and it's better to use it more than it is to like save it for like the one-off moment where it's perfect. I think you'll get a lot more consistency out of it that way.
All right.
Like obviously it doesn't beat the fact that yes they did remove the time shift. Like it did help with the extra cooldown, but yeah, I think still like time shift it was very nice, but now we don't have that no more.
Yeah.
It was definitely overpowered and unhealthy.
You're really unhealthy. Really overpowered? Unhealthy.
Yep. After this is when Harmonic Saint. This is about the place where you probably want to stop with Harmonic Saint Link. Not gonna lie.
Yep. Pulse of Purification recovers HP and wounds for allies within the range, up by 160 upon inflicting damage to enemies. This isn't too well. However, they did update Pulse of Purification to work with Iron Will now.
Yeah, so now you can Pulse of Purification and then while draining your health, while also getting hit, draining your health even more. It's pretty.
Yeah.
This ability is not good.
Sadly,
Yeah,
They
there's so many
saw
issues with
people
this
using
skill.
it to like kill Tagar, and they're like, can't have this being a skill anymore, and then poof.
yeah, it was really powerful when it was like in beta and like testing. Then they just nerfed the wicked out of it.
Yeah, this link is terrible. You realistically should never be using pulse purification, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's like, I don't know, there's just so many flaws with this skill.
Yeah, it's too
But
vulnerable.
they intend you to stand in the center.
Yeah, they just intended you to root yourself for the entire cast time.
Yeah, you Iron Will, stand in the center, tank, and then just like blow everything away to the side. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You're gonna be like, in clan, you'd be like,
I need
alright.
to protect my team members. I'm gonna knock everything back.
I mean, I'm lazy sometimes,
Geo
Or in Crom.
Geo asked if they've ever used it in KR. Yes, they have. Some. I've seen some weirdos use pulse of purification on Irusan after they pass hit count. They start charging it right before they're about to pass hit count, and so they hit it while it's down with it. Which, I mean, I guess if you can coordinate that, but like, it's kind of weird.
Like even when the skill has quote unquote pierce, like it's still like.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's just.
Can warmth increase the healing? I think warmth of life only increases the healing of Hand of Restoration and Echoes of Salvation. Correct,
Yeah,
Doggy?
Yeah,
those two.
just only those two. It doesn't increase.
no.
It doesn't increase healing output overall. It only increases.
Yeah. So I don't think you're getting your warmth of light stacks on your pulse of purification.
Yep.
Link 10. Link 10 is good, but in order to get Link 10, you have to get Link 9, which is the problem. But Link 10 is like a free Phoenix every hour.
And then you can choose when you want to use it, so it's at least it's like
Yeah, so you can choose when you need to use it. So like, you can use it as like a last survivor thing in Crom. If like everything goes terribly and you guys wipe, you have a fallback option.
And it's usable in Phantasm.
Yeah.
Like I remember Firelight using it at 0% link HP to res. I think you can use it. I don't
think
know.
you can too.
I vaguely remember, but
But who knows?
I wouldn't know until I finally get there.
yeah,
And
you'd have to test that.
I kind of don't want to because of how much it costs, but I guess
I don't think it's worth getting, to be perfectly honest.
I guess I'd be the one who's gonna get it.
Yes. Has GOS, has KR successfully cleared Glen hard mode? Yes, they did. They cleared it about 7 months ago. I swear.
You have a lot more practice than us, that's
Yep.
for sure. A lot more time.
Yeah.
We're still, in our early phases.
Yep.
We'll see more clears eventually once more people get it down.
Yep.
Yep.
I have high hopes.
We want to talk about the EK skills? Links?
Okay.
Wait, Doggy, what is that Elemental Knight unlearned?
You can leave it alone.
Doggy.
Leave it alone.
Elemental Knight skill MP usage. Personally, this one actually, as terrible as it sounds, is kind of convenient.
It's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna argue with it.
I found I was running out of mana a lot with EK before I had this. It just, with Spellwalk on, you use a lot of mana for some reason, I feel like.
Yeah, it's because Spellwalk uses double your mana.
Spellwalk doubles mana, and that also applies to EK skills for some reason.
Yep.
As well as
Shield
other
Trust.
instills. So like, you actually like, oh my god.
And yeah, Yukiko, I have a Nightbringer, but it's because I now swapped to an elf. I'm now an elf character now. I'm no longer human.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Boop. Next one is close combat and magic skill cooldowns by 10%. Race exclusive skills excluded though.
Shorter meteor cooldown, pretty good. Shorter windmill cooldown, pretty good. Rage impact cooldown is huge, let me tell you.
You stack that with Echo?
I have Warlord, Erg 50, so that's 15% off of Erg, plus the 10% from that, I Rage Impact, and it's a 22-second cooldown.
And then I forgot how much Echo. 20.
And then Echo is minus 20 if you max roll it, so the way that works, though, is you subtract the 20 first, I believe, So it would be a 10-second cooldown, and then you apply the percentage.
Yeah.
So then it would be you would have like your 10-second cooldown times your 0.25. So you'd have like off. So like you'd have a 7.5-second cooldown on Rage Impact. Not too bad. It's even more if you have dual or 50 dual blunts, but like
You know.
who cares? There aren't many giants that have that. But, like that would be 60%. So like you'd have a 4-second cooldown on Rage Impact. Pretty good. If you have the Rage Impact Echo. Really underrated Echo, I think, for a lot of people.
I agree.
Uh,
And the next one is
like 8?
Yep, increases minimal and max damage by 10% of magic attack when equipped with close combat talent, up to a max of 50.
This is 50 max. 50 max is a lot. That's like 1 creepy haunted. A low roll creepy haunted. Pretty good.
And then
I don't have much to say about 50 max, other than I like getting 50 max.
No, yeah, there's not really much to talk. That's Link 8, you might as well get it. Link 9, Blazing Assault Slash range is an addition 0.8 meters. Shattering Windmill is 2 meters. Denavolt Smash Whiff is 1 extra meter. And Dauntless Defense attack radius is 2 meters.
I legit think this is like one of the best Link bonuses for EK.
I cannot wait to unlock this.
The Shattering Windmill range is actually ginormous. Like, 2 meters is a lot of distance because it's on both sides because it's a radius. The Dynavolt Smash attack width is also really nice. There's a lot of times when like you group things, but you don't always hit everything just because of like slight displacement. Blazing Assault Slash range is always really convenient and really nice. And then actually the Dauntless Defense attack radius is actually really big. Especially if you're a giant, because you should be using Dauntless Defense a lot, and like, it's a good skill to have. The radius is really big. The other thing about Dauntless Defense is it actually knocks things back in Glen Hard mode.
It's a free knockback, yeah.
Yep. So it's really pog to just proc it, and it knocks things back off of you, and it buys you a lot of time. Really good skill. Start using it more. Especially if you have a shield equipped.
And then finally, at level 10, you get cooldowns of 1 second for each skill for Assault Slash, Windmill, Dynavolt Smash, and Dauntless.
Yeah, this one's really good too. This is obviously one of the better ones. Probably the second best one, I would say. The 1 second cooldown off of everything is just way more damage increase. It's like a huge damage increase. And I think it's really good. I think the utility of 9 is really good, and then the extra damage that 10 adds is just really good too. They're both incredible. I think the thing with EK is every single one of their higher links feels like a noticeable improvement.
But not Harmonic Saint.
Yeah, but Harmonic Saint after Link 8 is just...
I mean, they could have added MP and stamina regen or something like higher than just...
Yeah, like higher HP, MP, stamina regen, and Echoes of Salvation.
You know.
Doesn't Echoes of Salvation give like elemental resistance too?
I don't recall.
I think that's only Voice of Vitality.
Or is that Voice? It's one of them. I'm not a Harmonic Saint.
No, it just gives increased MP stamina recovery as well.
Oh, yeah, MP stamina recovery, yeah, that.
Yeah.
And then... Yeah, but it doesn't feel like high enough. As,
yeah, it doesn't.
If it had a green circle, like, it's already faster, like...
No,
yeah,
I agree.
I would have been like, for
Go by itself automatically.
It'll always stay ambiguous
Ooh.
because they won't tell us
Ooh.
the formulas.
It's very simple. Now, what do you think about the cost? Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's still too pricey?
the cost?
Or
What
the
do you mean the
smaller,
cost?
like the smoldering threads, like that's like
Smoldering threads, you should be able to farm up yourself.
yeah.
There's no reason not to be able to. It's
I
pretty
need
easy.
to farm Ruin Bow. I get
You
smolders
just
while I
need
do it.
to actually go
Yeah.
farm it.
Smolderings.
Or what about the AP cost too? Like I think it's
Water.
AP
especially
cost is fine. There's nothing you spend AP on in late game that realistically matters.
what do you think? They're gonna add more AP features,
There's
possibly.
realistically nothing you spend too much AP on. I feel like once you get past like 40k or maybe 50k, if you really want an infinite roll Sid, hey, for some reason, You're
Yeah,
fine. You're fine. Just
City gamers.
never. You're fine. Just getting your long-term food stats and just chilling.
that's right. We haven't talked anything about the ERG update or anything like that.
No, you want to talk about the ERG update?
Probably not. We could probably talk about that next time.
All right, we'll talk about that next time. After all, we've been going for like 3 hours.
Yeah, almost hitting the 4-hour mark.
Yeah.
I think I'll be ending it here soon, so I can just go snack on something, and then we can probably do our vouchers, and so everyone can just relax. We don't need to worry about someone streaming.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
That was the first episode of a Concentrated Juice
Concentrated
podcast
Juice.
talk show.
Whatever it is, all we know it's
Yeah,
the first build with Pulse's
Yeah.
ad. Here's the new Pulse's ad right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, this is that.
Pulse's ad.
Take over the Pulse's ad. Go. Look at that.
no.
Among Us, real life. Go Nos. Talk about the Pulses.
Okay. Have you guys heard of a numpad rhythm game that you can play directly in your web browser, also built in Java with JavaScript? It's called Pulsus. It's a very fun rhythm game. You can play with any number pad. Maybe your calculator that you got back in high school, your TI-83 or TI-84. You can probably plug that in USB to your computer and play Pulsus. Like it's so accessible. Like you should have the device. There's no reason you can't play this rhythm game. So, you gotta hop on the website, search for my maps. Obviously, mine are the only one that matters, so please play my maps. Search author NOS. Make sure you select controls, number pad, or else you have to play with letters. I don't know. I guess if you don't have a number pad, you could play with letters, but feels bad. It's not
People with
ortholinear.
special keywords,
Yeah, small
Numpad,
keyboard.
Small keyboard.
But like, if you're playing Mavi, how do you not have a numpad? It's so useful for summoning pets, Anyways,
That's true.
Thanks for everybody for joining today.
Yeah. We'll see you guys some other time.
The first season of Spilled Juice. The spill.
You don't even know the name.
The first spill.
The first Phil.
Directed by Evie. Goodbye.
Goodbye.